God. Do we have to do the show? Because I've already had a great time for like the last 15 minutes.
That makes one of us.
You're running around. Hey, just because you dropped the ball yesterday and didn't finish your work, it's not our fault.
Hey, I've got a full
hey.
Thanksgiving plate load of stuff here before we take a day or two off.
What do you have to do?
Oh, Score North stuff. I got
That's
best
got
of
nothing
stuff
to do
for
with me, man.
I've got best of stuff for this, so things run smoothly. We're getting content out for the people, the listeners.
Are this? You can be honest. Are the Score North guys the worst people to work with?
Save that for 7 minutes from now when he can hear you.
I plead the fifth.
I plead the fifth. Brittany, I just gave Tevin the ultimate humor lesson that he's ever going to have in his life. And I got to give him credit. He figured it out right away. Okay. Why I could tell the joke that I told. He figured it out. So, Tevin, you can go hit the stage over at Acme because you know how to do comedy now.
I've been around the block a little bit. If for anybody that's listening, go to Google and just go to the landing page, and there's an Asian man that looks like almost like a Pinocchio version of himself because he was a very accomplished heart transplant surgeon and very influential. And Tom thought that looked like me, and it looks nothing. It looks nothing like me.
Identical.
And the worst part of the whole thing is, if it would have been a black guy, I could have said, "Tom, you think all black people look alike?" But can't play that card because that guy is definitely Asian.
There's the lesson. You cannot say, "Hey, you look just like another black guy." You can't say that.
No.
But he can look like an Asian.
I'd actually prefer you to say that I look like
this man, though, man.
Yeah,
I have been on a roller coaster since I have been introduced to Dr. Victor Chang. He has done a lot and lived a life.
Oh my God, do you believe in what he accomplished in it? What did he live to be, 87 or something?
Yeah, and he was the modern heart he was a pioneer of modern heart transplantation. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Toying around with that, like
the credit I just gave Tevin, and he won't even take it.
He won't even take it.
You look like a genius.
You wish you were Dr. Chang.
Yeah.
Everybody right now that's listening that's had a heart transplant, you're welcome. It would not be possible without me. Yes.
Oh, they're great. But I love the fact that you figured out the exact reason that I could joke with you about that. That was good, though. You figured that out. I like that. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Now, here is one area where I wish I were black. A descendant of freed slaves, financier pursues family's $900 million oil claim. Why don't I get some of the money?
Oh, my gosh. I didn't even hear what you said.
I stopped at that, too.
I just love torturing. How long have I known you now? Like 80 years?
I don't know, something like that. I feel like it's been, I don't know, 10 years roughly.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So you're what, like 24 years old or something when you met you? How old were you?
Yeah. Yep. I was like 20, probably like 23. So it's probably been like
23
years. Yeah.
See?
Yep.
Look at all the you and I have learned together.
Oh, it's been a roller coaster.
It's been a roller coaster. I'm actually very, very proud of the fact that I am not terrified of skin color like most people are. They're just terrified of it. Oh, I got to walk on my tip. No, you don't. Settle down. We're human.
Right.
Why don't we go human to human and then shut the hell up?
I do notice that we have aged Tevin since he started this job. I remember him thinking he was young, and now I look at him, I go, we've aged you. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, we.
Yeah,
who's
the stress.
I think she's being nice to you by saying we.
Yeah.
She could have just said you.
I stress people out.
Look at him.
Do you know
remember when it
is working with you, Hunyucks? Do you even understand?
Look at Tevin right now. Do you remember when he was young and now he looks like a haggard old man?
Apparently, I look like an 87-year-old Asian man. So yeah, I've aged quite a bit.
I didn't want to get specific on which old man.
Yeah. Do you think we'll ever be able to? Because I'm going to do it till the day I die. I don't give a rat's ass what all these political parties think and all that. I don't care.
No.
Are we ever going to be able to say, hey, you can't go directly at the old nasty ass jokes, that kind of stuff. That's not what I'm saying. But can we ever just laugh together, just live together and not worry about anybody's orientation or skin color or religion? Oh, shut up, everyone.
Right. I live my life with, I'm going to make whatever jokes and comments I feel like. And every once in a while, I'm going to have to say I'm sorry because I took it a little too far.
You go.
And it's, and I think that people have because once you have a feeling out process with people and they kind of understand where you're coming from, people I think get less offended. But when it's a new person, people's instant reaction is, "Oh, this is a personal attack."
Oh, I know.
Like,
because they want to be a victim.
Yeah.
It's got nothing to do with you and what you said. They are the ones that want to be a victim.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm suffering mightily. Oh, are you?
Right. And
I forgot.
there is definitely a line not to cross, but me and my personality like to push the line a little bit sometimes.
You and me both, Belly. That's all I got to say. That's all I have to say to you. So I already, even before the show started, I was already having a good time. That's all I'm saying.
Hell yeah.
It was really weird. I walked into the studio and the first thing that I hear was Tom telling AJ that he did something perfectly and like, great job. And I almost turned around and walked right out.
I'm still in disbelief. I think he was lying.
I was referring to you trimming your beard, not the job site. You did a perfect job trimming your beard.
I went from full Amish to half Amish.
You're half Amish.
Famish. I'm famished.
You're Famish.
Famished.
Half Amish. Yeah, there you go. I am a half Amish. The OpenAI genius who told Sam Altman he was fired. Who cares? Why is that? I suppose it's in the Wall Street Journal, so that's a story. But these AI people, I was already talking to the fellas here before you got on, Brittany, that I want nothing to do with any of this. I really wish that they would if they put phone booths in on every corner, I'd get rid of my phone. I would never carry a phone.
I love that. I think like the realization that I've had that I don't need to be on call, even though I have a kid.
Yep.
The fact is I leave my kid with people who I know what to do. The only time I have to is if she's at daycare, because like if she gets sick, I have to come pick her up.
Yeah.
But I think we have to get away from thinking we're important enough to constantly have our phones on us.
I agree. And particularly very young people. Every day I see people walking down this hall staring at their phone.
Yeah.
They have no idea I'm even behind them.
It's a
That's
blankie.
not safe.
Yeah,
No.
it's a blankie at this point. Like, we don't know what to do to sit in silence. Like, the other day I was like, sitting somewhere waiting. And I used to carry a book around with me all the time. That was like my go-to. And now it's like anytime I get 2 seconds of silence, I grab my phone and I'm trying to stop that. I'm trying to like sit in silence, and it's fine.
Well, you see several more people were killed in elevators and all these other, a lot of that has to do with people staring at their phones. I'm telling you, they don't ever bring that up on the news, by the way.
Wait,
but
what?
You're saying, like 5 more people got killed, some on an elevator, one on an escalator. People are getting killed at the highest rate I've ever seen. So whatever we're doing right now is not working because people are dying en masse here. This ass-kiss society we're in, it's like, you know what? Get your head out of your ass and go to work and shut up. Mm-hmm. There, that's a good directive, isn't it?
I think they should start making cars where your phone completely shuts down to being used when you get in the car. Like,
I love it.
I mean,
EMP
obviously,
grenade.
like
that.
Just throw an EMP grenade in there.
There you go.
Yeah, like I think there has to be something. Like, obviously, like your streaming and your calls can come in if they can come in through the phone. But like, I don't think you should be allowed to text at all, even through your phone. Like, I just think what's the point? There's no text. Usually my texts are like, LOL, love that. Taylor Swift song. Yep. Okay. Like, there's nothing that important. And I had to train my brain to not respond to when I get a text. Because when I drive, I just can't.
Can't do it.
You can't do it.
Well, I was in agony this morning because of my phone. I get in my car, I'm driving to work. All of a sudden, Pat Eberts calls me. I'm in agony.
Oh.
They all start moaning. What do you do? What do you got? Is that a legal document you just picked up there?
No, this was the revised run sheet for the day because we had to make about 6 alterations a minute before the show.
6?
So I had to shuffle some things around. I'm just trying to be a little more on page with the rest of you guys. That's all.
Are you the ultimate producer? Is that it?
No, by no means.
No, I am not the ultimate producer.
No.
Forget it. But yeah, I just, I don't know. It's one of those situations. Like last night, I was supposed to go out to dinner with all of our neighbors. But Catherine didn't feel well, and they were kind of surprised that I wouldn't go to dinner with them. But I said, I can't leave my wife at home alone sick. She was at home alone sick all day. So what?
I'm rolling my eyes so hard.
I'm at that dinner.
Okay, no. First off, I know Catherine. She doesn't want you hovering around her, asking her.
She did object to it. She did.
Because she doesn't care if you're gone at a dinner.
do.
I know you didn't want to go without Catherine.
That's exactly right.
But that's like.
And I love my neighbors, by the way. Our neighbors are wonderful people.
I know you do. I know you love your neighbors, but like I know you so well that like sometimes Catherine is your blankie, and that's okay because she's a really beautiful blankie.
My blankie, I was her blankie, even if she didn't want a blankie.
Yeah, except she literally does not want you around when she's sick. I have met that woman.
I know. Why me? Why am I tortured by being hung up on all this stuff? That's what I'd like to know.
Because if she did want you around as much as you want to be around, you guys would be the most annoying couple in the world.
Really?
Yeah, like only one of you can be needy, and sorry, it's you. And
I'm not needy in the least. I give. That's all I ever do.
You're needy in your relationship. I'm needy in mine. It's fine. But like we can't have significant others that are also needy.
Let me just tell you something that you never hear. I tell my wife every day that I love her dearly and I love her more every day. Okay. I'm not making that up. That's not needy. It's that I don't know how I got so damn lucky to walk in that office of Alan Dorfman's that day and meet her. I love her more every damn day. Sorry.
Yeah, and
shut up and you live in your misery.
And what does she say back? Okay.
F yourself.
You can't have two of you. I'm sorry. It would be so annoying.
All your phone calls would be, I love you more. No, I love you more. No, you hang up first. No, you hang up first. So yeah, you can't have both of you be.
God, I tried to talk Dan into firing both of you yesterday, but he wouldn't do it.
Thanks, Dan.
Dan. No, I did have a conversation with Dan. Dan is is he the entire company director of media? Is that what he does?
I always call him my boss's boss.
Just to oversees all of radio.
Yeah.
Across the country.
Possibly.
Yeah.
I would think.
To his credit, I'm going to say yes, because he's damn good at it.
He gave me a call last night at like 6:30, 6:45, something like that. I had a wonderful conversation. We were laughing up a storm. Came up with, we're going to use a technique that I invented along with Mike Doucette. You remember Mike Doucette? You guys, that might have been before your time.
No.
Yeah, he's been all over. He's still around. I think he's in the media or doing something. But we're going to promote this show and get people to listen to this show by using the same technique. We got them to listen to the KQ Morning Show. But I can't tell you what it is yet.
Okay.
It's the silliest, dumbest damn idea, but it worked like a charm. And then the last time I did a promotion, maybe a similar company to this one, we were giving away $20,000. Right?
Can I win?
Well, it's KSTP.
Right, that's what I was going to say. How do I win this $20,000?
Yeah.
It was 1,500 KSTP. That's what it was. We'll give you $20,000 if you. I can't remember how you qualified for the $20,000, but on the vehicle it said the $20,000 giveaway. Steve Hatley, who God bless him, is no longer with us. I adored that man, but he died in a motorcycle accident, unfortunately. But he takes out the vehicle for the first day, and he stopped at a stoplight. A guy looks at the side of the car where it says, "Get $20,000 from KSTP." Walks up, puts a gun to Steve's head and goes, "Give me the money." And Steve goes, "I don't have it on me." The guy thought he had the 20 G's on him. I was like, what?
I mean, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, don't use that when someone's holding a gun.
The guy puts a gun to us and give me the 20,000.
How funny if Steve would have like pulled out the giant check. Like,
here you go.
He's handcuffed to a briefcase with $20,000 in it.
How stupid are some people?
Pretty dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got 20 G's in my wallet. Let me hand it over to you. No problem. No question about it. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the lovely and talented Judd from Score North.
Mike Doucette is like yours truly, a St. Therese and Deephaven alum.
Oh, there you
was,
go.
I believe, a grade ahead of me in grade school. So how about that I haven't heard Mike's name in years.
I think Mike is he? It's not an ad agency. He's got something. He owns some kind of agency or something. I think he's doing pretty well. That's what I understand anyway. But
Awesome.
Yeah, that was. I say, God, give me the 20,000. To this day, I laugh at that. It's like and Hallie's like, I don't have $20,000 on me, you dope.
So did the guy just walk away? Like what happens? I feel like once you pull out a gun, you've committed to a really large.
Yes, exactly.
You're all in for that day.
I would think so. Yes, I would absolutely. I've never pulled a gun on anyone. I wonder what that feels like.
I've never held a gun.
Have you really?
Never.
Come on over. I'll give you mine right now.
Come
on.
Guns scare me. No way.
You're just lethal. Who cares?
Yeah. No, I'm not going to be the guy that accidentally like trips and pulls the trigger and shoots someone. And no, that's not going to be me. I have no interest.
The ones that I always loved is when I was a kid, I'd go over to, my friend's house. I'm 9, 10 years old. I walk in and there's his dad. He's got a little Coke on the coffee table. And right next to that is a pistol. I'm like, you know what? My mother just called. Why? We don't have phones yet. Well, she called anyway and said I have to get back. I mean, the guy's dad doing Coke with a gun.
We had two completely different childhoods.
Oh, we did. See, that's what I love so much about this. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but when these judgmental assholes in the state of Minnesota go, you have no idea how I grew up. And if you grew up like that, you pussy ass pain in the asses would have fallen apart. I can guarantee you that.
Coke and a gun. Coke and a gun sounds very circa mid 60s through about 1980.
Well, that would have been about 59 or 60. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you were right about that. Very good.
Sounds like a good cocktail. Coke and a gun.
Coke and a gun.
Yeah, make it a double.
On the rock.
AJ thinks. It's like, how can I market this idea? Coke and a gun.
I like that a lot. That works for me. But do you think that we will ever understand that we all live different lives? And I suppose compared to 99.9% of white people, I did not live that life. I never did. But all these people out at Whispering Acres thinks that all honkies grew up the same, I guess. It's just weird. People have different lives, have different experiences, right?
I think that's personally, I think that's very hard for. I think it's very hard for people to put themselves in the shoes of other people.
It is.
I think the overwhelming assumption is that my life was the norm, because it's like the majority of us grow up thinking our parents were right. Hey, my parents did this. It was great. And then like you get out in society, you meet your spouse. It takes a while to come to the conclusion, oh, I guess my parents weren't always right. In fact, they might have rarely been right.
I knew my father was never right. He's a brilliant man, but he was nuts. So what are you going to do, right? Yeah. I mean, it's just the way. Look, live your life, but don't assume because all white people are white, they live the same life. All black people are black, they live the same. They don't. People have different lives. You need to understand that it's not the same. I saw things that children should have never seen. I will tell you, that's just a fact, right?
Well, yeah, and it's also not. I think it. I don't know. Scares the right word. I think but I think people have a hard time trying to identify it with other people.
Yeah, but understand.
But you're right. I don't disagree with you.
But that is why I used the word, and it went off on me like I was the devil. That's why I used the word assimilate. Let's move toward one another, not you and me assimilate to you or you to me. We both come together and try to meet in the middle. That's why I used that word. But they're too stupid to understand what I meant.
I like your idea of putting phones down.
Oh yeah.
When you're, but it's not because I don't really care if you're rude or not. I mean, if you don't want to talk, I don't care about that.
Right.
I'm with you on safety. I'm with you
Brittany.
Totally. I can't tell you how many people I see. Like I was walking after a Wild game about a month ago. I'm walking to my car in the parking garage across the street from the X, and it's well after the game, right? So the parking garage is, for the most part, empty. And there's a Wild employee. She's probably 25 or so. And she's going to her car. And so it's just us. And the first thing I see is she pulls out her phone and starts to look at her phone while walking to her car. And it's like, I'm a 54-year-old dude. And the first thing that occurs to me is, I wonder if there's somebody hiding here trying to jump me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's that's a hard one though, because the thing is, as a woman, you have this fear of making eye contact to show interest in God. Like there's this weird.
Oh yeah.
So like I get the anxiety to pull out your phone to show like you are not interested in talking. But but you have to like fight that urge to be like hyper aware. So for a long time when I used to do late night promotions and stuff like that, is I would carry a little taser because
I like it.
It wasn't any. It was just like, because then it was empowering. And sometimes I would like, this is so psychopath, and I'm fine with it. Before I'd get out of my car, I would just do a zap, be like, "Yep, it still works," and I just walk with that and with my head super up. Because I was like, the thing is, I'm going to come out super aggressive and I'm going to like stare people down. But like, as a woman, you literally learn eye contact is looked at as, oh, she's interested. She wants me to holler at her.
You're right.
I get both things. Like, I get like the fear that a woman has to like look down at her phone, but you're right. Like you're such a target then, you know?
I'm just imagining you walking through parking lots with a taser in your hand, flinching at people, like, trying to get me.
Yeah. That's how I want you to imagine me.
I'm picturing you like, you know how like you get the barbecue tongs out and you like you have to do
you have to do the test click. Yep.
That's Brittany in her car just.
Oh, I loved it because I
love the warning shot.
Yeah, it was like so empowering to hear that zap and to be like, if I just did that in the air, people like that would throw people off. And so, and there's nothing worse than feeling vulnerable or afraid. So it's like, that was the thing that got me through. Did I ever have to use it? No, but like I loved having it.
All right. At some point today, Brittany, we're going to have to go through all those emails you got about the concert on Saturday night. I want to definitely do that. So remind me of that if you would, because I just checked my email and I got 3 emails this morning, not text messages or emails that said, "You're right. Looks just like Devin."
No, Jesus.
Liar.
Well, let's
move on. See him there,
Judd,
sister?
Judd, tell us about the Timberwolves, because right now, first in the West.
My curiosity is piqued now.
Don't be curious.
Don't be curious. All right.
Run.
Okay.
Google. He thinks an 87-year-old Asian man looks like me. It doesn't. It's on Google. It's their landing page.
It's actually every member of this family called and said, "Tom, you're right." Oh, they didn't?
No. My mom's probably asleep right now.
Well, I hope so. That'd be good. All right. We should probably talk some sports here because, well, even though there's not a lot to talk about, I would imagine today, is there?
Well, as Tevin just said, the Minnesota Timberwolves are atop the Western Conference.
Yeah.
The Minnesota Timberwolves are one of the best teams in basketball right now. And the last time that you could even say this late into the season was the year that they went to the conference finals. So Timberwolves fans, for the first time in a long time, actually have reason to be excited.
Do we know why? Why are they good now?
It's all coming together. I think like Anthony Edwards is playing out of his mind. Cat, who is definitely a front runner type of player. So when everybody around him is playing well, he's going to play a little bit better. Rudy Gobert's killing it. Our supporting cast is, playing really well. We're undefeated at home, which is always good. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Judd, what do you see going right with this team?
Exactly that. They're good. Like they're just legit good. It's taken. Look, this should have happened years ago with all the high draft picks, right? But they finally have. Yes, they finally have a team that appears to be where everybody, for the most part, seems to know their role. And Ant is a true superstar. Like he's a really, really good player. And Anthony Towns, who's a super talented player, but probably doesn't have superstar tendencies. He sort of fit into his role now. So yeah, it's taken too long, but I will say Timberwolves fans deserve this.
Okay, now where does the coaching come in? Is the coach phenomenal?
He's doing a good job. He's doing a very good job.
And who is the coach?
Chris Finch, who was an assistant in Toronto, who they hired when they fired Ryan Saunders, Tevin, about 4 years ago now? 3.5 years ago?
That sounds about right.
But he's just he's a career coach who was an assistant basically in the NBA for years and years. And he's done a good job. But I mean, it finally appears there's some stability, which has been a long time coming.
That is huge in every sport. There's no stability is huge. Like on morning talk shows on podcasting, all coming together and agreeing with their leader. You know what I mean?
What show's that on?
Yeah, what show is that?
Where can I find that show? Because I'm not familiar with any.
Yeah, I'm not either, actually, to tell you the truth. But what the hell? But it's nice to see because That is one of the problems, and I hate to say this because Louis Nanny's a dear friend of mine and many hockey players, as a matter of fact. But you know how many winters I went through as a sports fan with the North Stars and the Timberwolves, and then later on the Wild. It's like, oh my God, the winter's bad enough. Do the teams have to suck too?
Yeah,
right.
Yep, and it's prolonged too. Like the nice thing would be if dare I say it, the Timberwolves keep this up for an extended period as well, where they don't necessarily have to be the best team in the Western Conference, but yeah, again, it comes back to stability. It comes back to being a solid franchise. I mean, there have been times, and Tom, you've seen this, where the Twins actually had this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, they were a disaster from 1993 to 2000, but starting in 2001, they had an extended run of being pretty damn good. They didn't win a World Series, but they were pretty damn good. So yeah. It's just, I like to see a fan base that has, it dwindled for sure, but has put up with so much crap, finally have a good team.
No question about it. Pal, I love our conversation this morning, and I'm glad you do realize he looks just like that guy. That's all I'm saying.
I like your message. Situational awareness in public with a cell phone. That's my takeaway, because I've been saying it. Well, I haven't even seen the picture. I don't know. Tevin appears to be very uncomfortable. I do. By the way, that blue hoodie is fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
Look at that bad boy.
Oh, it's a Wolves too. That's a nice hoodie.
Represent the Timberwolves today.
Look at that.
Very nice.
It is a nice color. What is that, like baby blue? Not darker than baby blue.
Darker than baby blue, but I got it at Shields. So anybody want to go to Shields?
I got to go to Shields. Everybody keeps telling me Shields is phenomenal.
I love Shields.
Yeah, you're the one. I think you're the first one who told me that, but I got to get there because I haven't been there yet. Catherine's been there, but I haven't.
Where's the closest Shields?
Eden Prairie.
Let you in. Yeah, I think they'd let you in.
Oh, it's you. Go away.
I'm surprised, Judd, you haven't been there. It's like an ode to sports. They have robots that talk to you and give the Miracle on Ice speech.
I think there's a John Randall animatronic ask questions.
Yeah, Johnny's a guy. I love that.
Now you're freaking me out.
No, it's not great. Gogo walked up to it, lost her mind when it started moving. Like, not in a good way. Like, we had to leave. It was like, don't forget to follow your dreams.
A little scary.
And there's 2-for-1 sneakers today.
Yeah, get your mom to spend more damn money.
Judd, we got one more day with you tomorrow before Thanksgiving, so I look forward to tomorrow's show, Pally.
Sounds good, everyone. Talk to you later.
Excellent. Judd Zolgad, Score North, ladies and gentlemen. We'll take a break. Be right back in a couple of minutes. I'm so happy to welcome back our longtime friends, Sabre Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning, to the show. I've known Steve, the owner, for many years, and I completely trust Sabre to keep my house comfortable. Why? Sabre does everything the right way, and they always put the customer first. I love the team at Sabre because their service experts are experienced NATE certified technicians. They're not salespeople. Their pricing is completely upfront, and they fix only what needs to be fixed and nothing more. Sabre is dedicated to giving customers what they need when they need it at the fair price, keeping your family safe and comfortable without breaking the bank. Give Sabre Heating and Air Conditioning a try. I know they'll take care of you just like they've taken care of me and my family. Whether you need a new Bryant furnace or air conditioner replaced or just simply need a service call to get you going again. You know what I'm talking about. Go to saberheating.com. That's SABRE heating.com. Sabre and Bryant, whatever it takes.
Hello, I'm Brad Huckle, President and Chief Lending Officer at North American Banking Company.
And I'm Michael Bilski, CEO at North American Banking Company.
As a locally owned and operated community bank, we work with many multi-generational businesses.
Take Personal Care Dentistry of Roseville, for example. Dr. Walter Hunt, also known as Painless to me, has been a longtime customer of the bank since we opened the bank in 1998.
When his son Kyle was ready to join the practice, They wanted to expand quickly.
With their additional space and equipment, they now are able to see more patients each day while providing the same level of care and service.
Okay, guys, I'll take it from here. If you run a family business or any kind of business for that matter, you should be banking with Brad and Mike over at North American Banking Company. Every time I deal with them or their team, I know I'm working with experienced professional bankers. So why not bank with my banker? North American Banking Company, a better banking experience, member FDIC, equal housing lender. You need to know a guy for your auto repairs, legal issues, banking, and more. The same goes for investment advice. You need a guy to help you be successful. Someone you can trust who gets results. Well, I got a guy for you. Josh Arnold. Josh gives you straight talk, not sugar-coated advice about your financial situation. Josh has seen it all when it comes to economic and market conditions, and Josh can make sure that your retirement objectives match your investments. Always a great idea. Do yourself a favor. Call Josh now for a no-obligation 48-minute evaluation. You've got nothing to lose, and you'll get a different point of view for your investments. Call Josh at 952-925-5608. That's 952-925-5608. You'll be glad you did. Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC, a security and investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice. I'm Tom Barnard, and I'm a paid endorser. Ladies and gentlemen, Channel 5's Chris Egert is brought to you by Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free. I'm sorry, I've been distracted 3 times. I'll have to get back to this. I did not realize the President of the United States was going to be on the show this morning. Sir, it says, Chris, you're in Chris Egert's spot, Mr. President?
Hey, don't you be accusing me of being the president.
What the hell outfit is this now?
I didn't feel like changing clothes today, so I'm wearing what I wear on the news.
Right, I need to go get a suit jacket quick.
This is what if you watch the news, Tom, this is what I'm normally wearing.
Yeah.
Do this for me. Ask not what your country can do for you.
I am not a crook.
I am not a crook.
Listen, I'd be a good president. I'm just saying at a lot of things. Lots of things I would not be good at. But
I found a blazer in my closet.
You look good, Brittany.
Thank you.
Oh, that's nice.
Well, you got the blazer on?
This is my court outfit. If I still need it, I have it.
Like if you have to, if you're accused of a crime and you have to defend yourself, or if you have to do jury duty.
That doesn't
What do
look
you
like
think?
an orange jumpsuit. What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's true.
See, I'm trying to get the appearance of not being in an orange jumpsuit when I am.
Gotcha.
Chris, I do have, do you have to do your money time?
So I should do this, yes. Channel 5's Chris Egert is brought to you by Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation, 952-925-5608. And now back to the President of the United States, ladies and gentlemen.
Chris, I'm annoyed with you a little bit.
Let's go.
I turned on the news today.
I like it.
And I'm staring. My Christmas tree is just off to the left of the TV. And then on the screen, I see what looks like a large gathering of people. I was like, oh, this looks a little unusual. It was a promo for the state fair right before Thanksgiving, a little early, 275 days. But we got to make sure we advertise the state fair. What's going on over there?
All right, Tevin, I will say this to you, and since we're among friends,
that's nice of you to say.
The folks at the state fair are very, very, very good at getting their name mentioned in different places all the time.
True.
Like 275 days away from the fair starting. Like 2 days before Thanksgiving. So they're having a one-day sale on tickets today. You can buy tickets for $13 versus $18 at the door, which is a really good savings. But they're having a one-day flash sale. And yes, we did run an item on the news this morning. And yes, it was about the fair. And yes, many of my other friends will give me crap about that too, because I have this one friend who watches about once every 4 months. And whenever he watches, he'll be like, oh, what do you guys got going on with the state fair today? And undoubtedly, there'll be some state fair story in the newscast.
I love it. Well, it's the biggest. It's still, I think, the biggest event in the state every year, isn't it?
Gotta be.
Yeah.
I don't know what.
Yeah. Bigger. So I'm pretty sure that's true. But hey, we went there last year, and I tell you, you don't sell the place out because they don't pay to sit down and watch it. But we loaded up the joint, which was very, very nice. Met a bunch of great listeners. I love that event. The state, I only went to the state fair once in 1975 when I was working at WDGY, and found out later the guy throwing pennies at me would grow up to be one of my best friends, Jeff Passolt.
That's funny.
He and his brothers are throwing pennies at me. What the hell are you doing?
That's awesome.
He didn't tell me that story, by the way, until I had known him for about 10 years. He went, that was me that was throwing pennies at you at the state fair.
That's hilarious.
I think he was like 12 years old or something, too. That's the great part of it. But no, I love the state fair. It's a great event. People are very, very happy, at least when I've been there.
Yeah, Tevin, why do you hate fun?
Yeah, Tevin.
I love the state fair. I love this. Like, I will go there, eat my heart out at the state fair. But if 275 days,
Yeah,
a little excessive.
I agree. And I'm usually I'm like the biggest curmudgeon around here that there is. And I'm normally like, come on. But you know, there's lots of dark stuff on the news today. So I was like, yeah, well, I'm happy to have a state fair flash sale story on. Why not?
Okay, what's the darkness?
I mean, everything.
Really? Everything's bad.
Yeah.
I just pay attention when Hannah's on, so I don't even listen to the news.
Some turkeys got pardoned. That was huge.
I saw that. Minnesota turkeys.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
And then I liked that after the pardon announcement, you guys transitioned with, here's how to cook your turkey.
For the ones who don't make it.
Yeah.
I was proud of myself. I made a joke out of that story that because they were talking about the turkeys after they are pardoned, they get to go to the University of Minnesota where they'll become ambassador animals.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, how fun. The turkeys are going back to school.
Oh.
And then like we started making college jokes. And I said, I can't wait to see them down in Dinkytown. And I was pretty proud of it at the moment.
But not now.
Well, now that in retrospect, it seems not funny, but it was kind of part of the moment, I guess.
Yeah, you had to be there.
I think it's good.
In retrospect, everything I say is really not funny, if you want to get right down to it.
I think everybody feels that way.
Yeah.
That you're not funny?
No, like, you know, if you like the death of humor is overanalyzing.
You're right. You know what else, Brittany? Now that we're throwing out some quotes, comparison is a thief of joy.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, listen to that.
How about this? Tomorrow, let's both have a saying that we make up that we've never heard before. And whoever has like the one that seems more like that would last the test of time wins for Thanksgiving.
I didn't make that one up. It was Teddy Roosevelt.
I know. That's why I'm saying let's make one up for tomorrow.
Oh, well, then we're not.
No. Okay. All right.
It seems like a lot of pressure.
I thought us.
It really is.
Because then AJ would get some drop of one of us saying some stupid thing and be like, whenever anything pops up, then AJ just hits the button and suck it. Yeah, like that.
But that never happens.
Touchdown.
That never happens.
Didn't catch that one in the pre-read. I've not been catching much in the pre-read lately. I'll be honest with you. It's been a rough couple weeks.
I've been watching every day. It looks good to me.
It's because I'm not wearing my. I can't see, and my stupid. Whether I'm forgetting my glasses, and the teleprompter looks fuzzy, and
yeah,
you're
fine. You did a great job. It's Hannah did a wonderful job too. Everything's great.
Obviously, she's amazing.
And I appreciate when whether it's you or Hannah or anybody else will make a slight mistake, because then it doesn't feel overly produced and it feels more real. Like
we're very real.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. This is true because I run into people every day. Some of them didn't even know the show is on, but then I run into others, and the ones that do listen, they love this show, man. And I'm not talking about they like the show; they love this show.
Good,
because
glad to hear that.
Well, but it's because of most of you, not all of you, but most of you.
I'll see myself out.
Right, he's like, I'll let you guys collectively figure out who are the ones.
You guys can just think about that over the Thanksgiving break. Which of you is valuable to this team, and which of you is not valuable?
I'm having a wonderful morning. I got to tell you that I really am.
Good.
I like having mornings like that, but no, they do. They run down the list of everybody, and they enjoy everybody on the show. And it's totally unlike any other morning show that I've ever heard, to tell you the truth.
Well, the fact that we're on YouTube is exciting to me.
Right? Like to go on YouTube?
Yes, we are on YouTube. Everybody go to YouTube, the Tom Barnard Show. Subscribe. Yes.
Did you try hitting the screen?
He did. The screen.
Is that one of your YouTubes? Have you guys,
Grandpa?
Have you decided which state flag you want to be the finalist yet? It's going to get narrowed down to 5 today.
Laser eyes.
No, explain something to me, because I know there's like a farmer and a Native American on our flag now, and I've never looked at the flag up close. So what's the problem with today's flag? What's the problem here?
There was some insensitive things that.
Oh, there are?
I think so.
Does that bother you that I'm at the age that I am and I've never ever looked at the flag closely to see?
I mean, nobody has until this.
Honestly,
now.
If they
Tom.
weren't changing it, I wouldn't know what was on the
Tom.
flag.
That flag sucked. Like, I'm just gonna say it. The old
Yeah,
flag
well, it wasn't attractive.
sucked. No,
sure.
and like,
no, it's,
Here,
like-
here you go for everybody for the YouTube audience. If you want to see this, there you go.
oh wow,
This
That's
is-
not it, is it?
Yeah, it is.
Well, that's our
That's-
flag now.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
it
now.
I have
sucked.
never seen the flag.
Trois de Nord.
Boo! I'll
Because
never
it is-
salute that.
Wait a minute, I was just looking at it.
Okay.
Okay, L'Etoile du Nord, the Star of the North. Is that what that means?
Pretty much, yeah. North Star. Something.
Yeah,
like
so
that.
Tom, I think the question is, or the content that's being questioned here is the Native American feller on his horse, and then that farmer plowing on his land that was presumably taken from that Native American feller back there on his horse.
But like, let's just take a break and act like it's not controversial. How
How
about
is
this?
it controversial?
But like, I'm just saying, let's ignore that for
Oh,
a second.
okay, all right.
Look at the space being used and the space not being used, and how much is conveyed. Like, just design wise, this is shit, and I hate it.
This looks like Go-Go drew this. at,
Thank
like,
you, thank you. I would be embarrassed if she did. Like,
You know what's amazing to me? I don't get involved. I don't give a rat's ass what our flag looks like. I don't care at all.
I
So, I don't
Nobody,
get involved in that stuff.
you just wait. So they're supposed to come out with 5 finalists today. As sure as I'm sitting here right now, this is gonna turn into a thing.
Oh
Like,
God, yeah.
It's gonna take forever to actually come up with one that everybody agrees with.
Chris, is it going to be like a people can just vote and that's how it's decided?
I
or
do
how-
not believe so. I believe there's a commission, and the question then becomes, if commission comes down to, if they even land on one thing, then do they decide, well, we'll do this design, but can you do this, and this to it? Yeah, that's just what I envision. Like, just knowing Minnesota politics the way Minnesota politics are.
No.
I just, it's gonna
You
be,
know what they
there's
should
gonna
do?
be something.
I have the perfect Minnesota flag. You ready?
Yeah.
On one side of the flag, so because the flag waves up in the air all the time. So on the back of the flag, they should show 2 people shaking hands and being very friendly. And then on the other side, real Minnesota, the guy stabbing him in the back.
Yeah.
That'd be a perfect Minnesota
I like
flag.
it. And to pick which of the 5, they, rather than just having a commission decide, they need to go like election style show where we got live polls.
Yeah, on TV, like,
Oh, there you
voting.
go.
Yes.
I would agree with that.
and then like have people that are really passionate. Like, I'll just, again, I don't care until I remember to care, and like I'll just pick up for the laser-eyed one and like be very passionate, going door to door and explaining why
Yep.
the laser-eyed one represents us to the perfect T. I think that is great.
And then you have the 5 people that submitted the finalists. You have them throw these big, like election style parties at their house where we have live look-ins at, the designer for this one. And yeah, it'll be awesome.
Devin, I like where you're going with this. It's kind of it could be a little we could take it a little Hunger Gamesy too, and then they could battle to death at the end.
I love.
Why do we need a state flag? I don't understand this. What the hell do we
To
even need it?
fly.
Yeah,
So put up a bed sheet. Who cares?
to salute every morning
You
when I
have
wake
all
up.
these
Yeah, you
flag,
see the flag.
we have all these flag poles around the state. We wouldn't want them to go to waste.
We can put up the United States flag, or is that bad too? Stars and stripes and
I'm
blue
sure
and red.
somebody thinks it's bad, but I don't know.
I'm sure they do, because nobody's ever happy.
I can't wait till after this whole process, like they finally decide on one, and then it comes out like a month afterwards that
Love it.
whoever designed it, like there's just a resurfaced video of like them kicking a dog or something, and then they're like, "All right, back to square one. Let's run it back. Let's hit the laser eye one now."
You have to understand something. And I was born here. I was raised here. I live here for a very specific reason, because I want to. But Minnesotans are weird as hell. You guys know? Well, you're from South Dakota. You know that.
Yeah, well, I've lived here about as long as I lived there. So
Yeah, but I mean, it's a weird place. I'm sorry. You got the outer shell of the West Coast and the East Coast. They got it all painted this one color, and then there's one state right in the middle, Minnesota, that so much wants to be either New York or Los Angeles that they try so hard to be important. Settle down.
I
So
think we should just
today-
put Herbeck's picture on the
I
flag.
love it. Herbeck on there works for me. I've never understood why we need flags anyway. Good. You got a flag. Good for you. Honoring the troops, I guess. I'd like that.
I say whenever they pick it, we're gonna get the new Minnesota state flag. We're just gonna hang it as your backdrop.
What a shock.
Yeah, that would look really good behind you, Tom. Whatever that flag is.
I like it. I like that whole idea because it's kind of just gray back there now. So if they
it's like that sound, that cushion is not really. I mean, it's fine. It adds to the aesthetic that you're in a studio, but think how great that laser beam loon eye guy will look behind you.
Right. Question I have for you, and I'm being very serious here. Have you ever seen a flag anywhere you've ever been? You went, oh my God, what a beautiful flag. No.
I actually really like the Maryland flag.
What is that? What's on there?
It's hard to describe because it's kind of just like it's organized chaos.
Oh no.
Organized chaos.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about, AJ.
I don't know.
It's the same thing that the football team will put on their helmets.
Yeah.
God, I don't know what that is. I'm gonna have to look that up and figure it out. But yeah, look, you like flags. I'm happy for you. I couldn't give a rat's ass if we had a state flag or not. I don't care.
Wow, Tom.
Right?
That's actually a really hot take, and I don't know how you live day to day with that mindset.
Yeah, AJ, get ready for the hate mail to come in.
I'm saying I will honor the flag if you want me to. That's fine. I got no problem with that. I have just never understood the importance of flags.
No. The only time the only time I notice them is if they're at half mast, and then I go,
that's right.
"Oh, I wonder why they're at half mast," and then I just keep on about my day.
I mean, I get the United States flag. I get that.
50 states.
The state flag thing. I mean, one could easily argue there is not a lot of value in a state flag. I said it. I agree with you, Tom. In theory.
What is happening, you guys? The state flag is our North Star. It is our moral compass. It's what we live by. Get out of here. Also, how do you wear a blazer? It's so hot. You have a long sleeve shirt on.
He's all dolled up. He's got to go.
Oh, it's so hot.
He's doing some shimmying.
Wait, hold on.
Can we full screen that?
Yeah. Can you do that again? No, step back. Now step back and do it again.
What are you doing?
He's shaking.
Mommy like.
We're gifting.
That's a David Letterman move right there.
I wouldn't know. I never watched him.
I've never tried it before. Oh crap, I'm late. All right. Well, this is weird.
Sorry.
All right.
Oh crap, I'm late. I love working with him. I'm just telling you.
I've got that Maryland flag if you want to see it.
Yeah, I'd love to see it.
There we go.
Okay. See, what is that?
There's meanings behind it. I just it means something, but it looks kind of cool, but also
I like it.
I don't know. It's not like it's better than a circle with a drawing inside, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Can we just change the colors and make it the Minnesota flag?
I'm fine with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a flag. Who cares?
I mean, it's gonna be my first and only tattoo once they pick it. So
The flag?
yeah, I'm ready to commit.
Where are you getting it?
Boy, I have a great flag story, but I can't tell it on the air, unfortunately, because somebody would be offended by it. But let me put it this way.
Okay.
The guy had a woman over that he had never, had sex with. He woke up the next morning and there was a certain country's flag because she was apparently menstruating.
Oh, geez. The Japanese flag.
Oh, you said it. I didn't.
There we go.
It's your fault. And then he calls me. Brittany. I'm not kidding you. He calls me and he goes, I got the goddamn Japanese flag at my house.
Wait, are you seeing Brittany right now?
I'm dying. I have to mute myself. I'm dying.
Did you cough up a lung? My God.
That got me.
That got me.
I'm just saying he said it. I didn't.
Oh my!
But he honestly got holds it out. Like, don't show me that. I want to see that.
Oh my gosh!
You pill.
Listen, if you haven't perioded on something, you haven't lived. Is all I'm gonna say.
Well, if you haven't perioded on something, you haven't lived. I like that take. There's no question about it.
I'm dying.
Super bad movie where he's dancing with the girl at the house party and he backs off and he's just got a big blood stain on his leg.
You guys, though, in every woman's defense, it just comes on and it comes on hard. It just happens. And guess what?
Have you ever seen movie 43?
What is it?
What?
Movie 43?
No.
Oh my! It's a very, very bad movie, but it's got a couple. It's mainly skits, and they somehow were able to blackmail all of these like big name actors. It's awful, but there's a period like skit in there, and it's just like, she's dying, Teresa's dying, because it's like a teenage guy with her and they don't know what's going
She's
on.
bleeding to death.
Call an ambulance.
All right, we got to move. We got to. By the way, they sure did load up the. What? Get a little tired? They didn't want to load up any spots on the log, or what?
Yeah.
See, now if she had peed the bed, it would look like that.
Oh, Jesus.
Also done that. I've also done
White,
that.
and then the yellow all over the white. So
If you haven't peed the bed, period the bed. Listen, that's what beds are for. That's what sheets
period
are
the
for.
bed, peed the bed, the whole shoot. What a classy show this is today.
Thank you.
Don't you think?
So good.
Did I do the Chris out? I can't remember.
No.
Okay, good, thank you.
He wants to be sponsored during this.
Yes.
Yeah, he sure does, doesn't he? Channel 5's. I don't know if I can get through this now. Thank you.
Ugh.
Channel 5's Chris Eggert is brought to you by Mr. Money Talk Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation, 952-925-5608. That's 952-925-5608. We'll take a break. Be right back in a couple of minutes, ladies and gentlemen. You all have helped support MyPillow and their employees in these tough economic times. Mike Lindell knows this and continues to give back to listeners with deals on his most popular products. You've heard me recently speak about the My Slippers, the Giza Sheets, MyPillow 2.0, and more. Great news, the MyPillow 6-pack bath towel sets are back in stock. The proprietary technology makes them extremely absorbent, yet still provides that soft feel you look for in a towel. The set comes with 2 bath towels, 2 hand towels, and 2 washcloths as well. Regular price $79.98. For a limited time, you can get the 6-pack towel set for only $39.99 with promo code TOM. That's a 50% savings. So go to MyPillow.com, use promo code TOM to save 50% on the MyPillow 6-pack towel sets. That is just $39.99 for a set. This deal will not last long. Enter promo code TOM for this special and many more.
Is that text you're sending so important that you missed your turn? Is that text you're sending so important that you ran the red light? Is that text you're sending so important you didn't see the ball coming onto the road or the child that followed? Hi, I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw and Bryant. When you take your eyes off the road for even 4 seconds, your vehicle travels 100 yards. That's the entire length of a football field. If you absolutely have to text, you need to pull off the road somewhere safe and do it from there. Texting and driving is against the law and can cause serious injury or even death to you and others. Now that is important. We hope you're never injured in a collision, but if you are, please contact us.
Find Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
Going farther with Mike Bryant on your side, seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw and Bryant.
Recently, Jim Paul of Valley Buick GMC was contacted by a company that does on-site sales. Jim was confused.
Wait, they don't know anything about us, our staff, our reputation, most importantly, our customers.
Hey, pal, no problem. We do them all over the country. You know, get the manager off the roof sale, inflatable gorilla sale, and our favorite, the 13-hour sale with a giant clock that goes to 13. Urgency, baby. We bring our crew because, well, your people are, let's just say, a little laid back.
And the pricing?
Nothing special, sport.
But Jim thought we price competitively every day. Our prices are special. We definitely don't need these guys. But sale does convey some urgency, so we made a bold decision for his fine dealerships.
Announcing the Valley Buick GMC 365-day sale. And we can even extend it a couple years or so.
I got the air dancer guy, scratch-offs, plastic keys, bubble machine files.
Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley or Hastings or valleycardealers.com. Hurry.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. A little bit of news, a little bit of information. We've got special guest Jenna Andrews coming up at 9:20. She is a Canadian singer, songwriter, producer. She wrote for BTS. You guys familiar with the Korean pop sensation? She wrote Dynamite and Butter.
Those are some big ones.
Like chart-topping #1 hits across the world.
So she's no amateur.
No, she knows what she's doing. So yeah, I'm very excited to talk to her. But what's up with you guys? Brittany, how does it feel to be here on a Tuesday for the first time in like 4 months?
Yeah, we haven't even acknowledged that.
It's a lot easier than being in pharmacology, I'll tell you that. Like, we talk about periods probably more here than pharmacology, but you know, you guys are easing me into it. I like a full week with you guys, even though we're only doing a half week.
Did you? Do we know a final grade yet for your class or no?
No.
No.
When do we find out?
I don't want to talk about it.
Are you nervous?
Oh no.
I'm always nervous.
A great quote by Rodney Dangerfield.
What's
Tell
that?
me when you have no class.
Now
Well, now she does.
And so she called in this
Yeah,
morning
that's why
because
she
she
called
has
in.
no class.
Yeah, nursing school is hard, is what I.
Here we go.
But like, it's one thing. I don't know. It's the juggling of the things. Like next semester, I'm not doing class because we've got our show and stuff. So it'll be a nice break to just do to drop that for a little while.
Right. It's hard to do class, have a kid, and do the show.
Yeah. So it'll be fun. It'll be fun to put, be more talented on this show.
Yes, that class was really holding you back. I feel.
Yeah, I could give 100% of my attention to Tom all the time.
What are you guys talking about?
I do have to, I really want you to talk about something, Tom, that I put up an article in Tom's News Stories about Prince's iconic ruffle shirt.
Oh, yeah, we read that yesterday.
Yeah.
What?
You were here when we read that yesterday.
No, you must have done it on the family.
I think that was on the family hour.
You don't support my family. Okay.
Whoa.
Why do you
Whoa. I don't support your family. Is this the hill you want to die on, sir?
A massive spin zone. I kind of respected.
I don't support Tom Barnard's family. I have watched almost every member of your family. Thank you.
Oh, that is awesome.
Oh, yeah, my family's rather fond of this woman. I must admit.
I don't. That's it.
I had an interesting experience.
What happened?
I walked down to the men's room, and there's this young guy. He's got red hair. Nice kid. And I've been saying hi to him for like 8 months. Every morning he goes, "Hey, good morning. How you doing? How's everything going?" Just a very, very friendly guy. Really nice guy, right?
Yeah.
So I ran in today, and he goes, "So what do you do?" And I said, "I do a morning talk show." And he goes, "Oh, okay." And it just tells you once again, he's probably 28, 29, something like that. Those guys do not listen to morning shows. They just don't.
No. If you would have told them, did you say podcast or did you say like just?
I did. Then we got around to it.
Okay.
And the other great part of it was he said, so I told him my name. He'd never heard of me. That's a different age. It's a whole different age group.
Yeah.
So it is. But what a nice kid. Just very, very friendly. He's always in a good mood. He's one of those guys.
Yeah. And in his defense, before I met you, like I probably had heard your name once or twice, but I had no idea how big the show was. Like I had family members that were, "Oh my gosh, you know Tom Barnard, you went on his show." And I'm like,
it's weird, yeah.
Like, yeah, he's just some random
hun yuck
that
See, that's not the world I lived in. And I hate pumping you up, Tom, because I feel like I'm here to knock you down. I'm here to knock all of you down.
Yes, I've noticed that.
But like we lived and died by the KQ Morning Show. When I got in the car in the morning, that's what we listened to. That's exclusively what we listened to.
Because your mother.
Not only my mom, not only my stepdad.
Oh, really?
But my brothers, because I have a brother and a stepbrother who are the same age, and we'd get in the car. There were 7 of us kids all in all, so we had a ride to school with 4 of us that were in high school. And no matter what, even if I was like, "Can we listen to music?" It was like, "We're listening to the KQ Morning Show." And eventually I was like, "All right, I get it." But when you're young, you're kind of like, "I want to hear Britney Spears." And then it was every car we got in, all the time, always, KQ Morning Show.
Now we're talking.
Yeah.
That's
one of the listeners. I don't know, Brittany, if you have the emails from going to the concert.
Oh, yeah.
But
we should do that.
One of the listeners was saying how her dad every morning had it on the radio and she'd be like, "Can we listen to something else?" He'd be like, "No. In this house, we listen to the KQRS Morning Show with Tom Barnard."
I love you.
Okay, so I flagged a couple that I thought were cute.
Excellent.
Aaron and Kendra wrote, "Hey, Tom, thank you so much for the Eagles and Doobie Brother tickets. We had a great time. Thanks again." Bill wrote in, "Thanks, tell Tom it was a pleasure meeting him Saturday night. What a fun night. Thanks, Bill." And this one's a little long, but I thought it was good. "Thanks for inviting me and Janet to watch the Doobie Brothers Eagles concert Saturday night in Tom's Suite. It was such an honor and a privilege to meet Tom and Doug on the show. Longtime loyal listener since '88. Thank you so much. What a show. And to be able to see it with Tom made it so special. Seriously, what a nice and genuinely great guy. I was blessed.
You talking about Doug there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought so. Yeah.
Love the Tom Barnard show and love you guys. Brittany, Tevin, and AJ, you guys rock. Again, thank you so much, Rolf.
That's my favorite one.
That's my favorite that was sent in. I want you to know
what
that.
a nice thing.
These people were so incredibly nice. Because you worry sometimes that, at least one person is going to drink too much. Nobody did. Not at all. They're going to do this. Every one of them was incredibly nice and very engaging. Our listeners are very smart people. First of all, our listeners do well, and they're very smart people, it's always great.
That's so awesome.
It was amazing.
I love it when you have moments where where people get those beautiful, when we were at the state fair, watching people go out of their way to talk to you and to see their like meeting somebody they've listened to their whole life. I love watching that interaction.
It's wonderful.
It's so cool.
I'm very lucky. I've had a couple of people mention to me, hey, thanks for the $1,000 beer. So that was good. Thank you for thanking me for that.
God, after that, it's so funny. I have so many little multiple, I kept timesing everything to try to figure out how much things cost when you're talking about beer. Because I haven't bought a beer in 13 years. $26 a beer?
$26 a bottle.
How can you afford to get drunk? That is crazy.
It's amazing. It's unbelievable.
What's a beer at a restaurant in Minneapolis? What's one beer? Tevin might know.
$8, $9. Yeah, if you're downtown, probably for a Bud Light.
That seems crazy to me, but
because stadiums, they just don't want people to get drunk. Because a lot of times, if it's a football game, for example, you're tailgating beforehand. They don't want to have to deal with all that. And they stop selling alcohol. I think at the end of the third quarter of football games or whatever, at some point they stop. So they got to mark they got to mark the price up so they can get it, and then they really want to just kind of discourage you.
I remember I took Dan, my son-in-law, and his friends to a game a few years ago, a Viking game.
Yeah,
and they each had 4 beers, so it was 12 beers, a 12-pack of Miller Lite, and it was $120, and I thought that was expensive. I mean, $120 as compared to $800. That's quite the leap. Yeah, whatever. Good. They had a wonderful time. I will back at you. You people were so incredibly nice. I loved meeting every one of you. There was a woman that was upset because Catherine wasn't there. She was still sick last night, but she was upset Catherine wasn't there because she's bohemian too, like Catherine is.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to talk that bohunk crap all night.
Yeah.
Would have been unbelievable. What do you think?
We just had Greg. First off, yeah, that would have been a phenomenal pairing. But we just had Greg call in. He was at the show and he wanted to know your thoughts on, apparently at some point during the show, there was a conversation between Keith Richards and Joe Walsh. And he's like, I couldn't understand a single word that was said during that conversation.
I don't think either one of them is functioning at a high level at this point.
Just mumbling to each other?
Kinda.
Okay.
And by the way, I adore both of them. I mean, Joe Walsh has been my hero. I mean, Rocky Mountain Way. God, it was a wonderful show. And the Doobie Brothers, my God, Michael McDonald. What a talent. Oh, you got to do it again?
Yeah.
He came from somewhere back in the long ago. A sentimental fool.
It's when anybody sings, with his voice, we all do this weird lip thing. It's like all of a sudden we have filler in our lips to the point where we do ducks.
Indeed. It's all true. It's very hard to deny, don't you think?
It is.
I don't know what this means. Netanyahu pressed to eliminate Hezbollah threat. What's the Hezbollah threat here? What are they talking about?
That whole sentence threw me off.
Yeah, might as well have been Chinese.
Yeah, what do they mean by that? I haven't read the article yet, so
I don't
the
know.
Israeli prime minister is resisting demands to take action at the Lebanon border from nearby residents and the Israeli military. Aren't they involved in enough skirmishes now the way it is? They want them to be involved in another one? I just don't understand. You know what I would really like? Why don't we do this? Why don't the Eastern Hemisphere take care of the Eastern Hemisphere and we'll wait over here?
I'm fine with that.
I just don't understand. Isn't it pretty much a desert anyway?
I mean,
for the most part, I feel like not like a desert where it's just sand dunes, but it's very mountainous, sandy, kind of rocky, not a lot of vegetation. And Hezbollah is apparently a Lebanese Shia Islamist political party.
So
and militant group.
I've known some Lebanese people. Eddie LaHood was one of my favorite people I've ever met in my life. He was my boss when I worked at Donaldson's. Nicest guy. So I've met. I grew up with a lot of Jews, and I know a lot of Jews. I love Jews. Same situation with the Lebanese people I've met. I've known a few Arabs. They're very, very pleasant. So where is this all? Is this all about political power? Is it about money? What's it about? It can't just be about a different look at what God is all about, because that's what they try to present it as. No. Oh, my God's better than your God.
No, it's probably a little bit of everything where you get, you sprinkle in a little, I want some money, a little bit, I want some power. You find somebody that has some power, but doesn't maybe have a lot of money. And you go, hey, I can give you some of my money if I can get some of your power, and let's work together and make somebody hate somebody else. So
you followed my thinking 100% there, because I still think, and you guys being of a different generation than me can vote on this. I swear to God, there are two people we don't know about, one that works at CNN and one that works at Fox. And those two people get together every morning and go, okay, we'll start a skirmish over on CNN. And then you guys at Fox, okay, well, we'll react and we'll be really pissed. I think this whole thing is planned out and played out to the max so they can make the absolute most money they possibly can.
Yeah. I mean, they probably have a department that, whether they're talking with each other, they have somebody that their job is to watch Fox News and see what they're talking about. So that way we can preemptively defend what we think they're going to say.
And then, hand to God, Vern Gagne taught them all how to do it. You'll meet up before the wrestling matches and we'll tell you how they're going to turn out.
Like, who's going to be the heel this week?
Right. Exactly.
Right.
I swear to God that this whole thing is all teed up between Fox and CNN. We hate them. We hate you more. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, right.
And then right after the show, they make out.
Oh, do you have to do the tongue thing?
Yeah, I have to. By law, in my contract, I have to do the tongue.
You do? It's in your contract?
Yeah. Once a show.
Never mind then. I won't get upset then if you have to do it. I have to. Look, I really wish we could take focus off of money, and I guess that comes down to property, and that's valuable to me. And it's like, oh my God, can we ever agree on anything?
Well, it's never going to end. I watched a documentary on Hulu yesterday. It's called The China Hustle. It's from like 2017.
Yeah.
But essentially, they took all these companies in China that weren't able to trade on the stock market, and they had them say they were merging with U.S. companies that were ghost towns. And then the Chinese companies would lie and say they're making millions of dollars, and nobody did any types of checks and balances.
There you go.
And so people were making billions and billions and billions of dollars. And it was just like, people will do anything.
You're right.
To get over on somebody. And of course, at the end, they cut to, somebody's grandpa who had his whole retirement savings in the whatever companies, and it all goes down to zero and he loses everything. So it's very sad, but yeah, people will do anything.
After you said the title, I was really hoping it was going to be about a dance move.
Yeah.
The China Hustle. Yeah. That's the first thing I
like that song.
You do?
Actually, a friend of mine played it at his wedding. They're coming down the aisle and they play Do the Hustle.
I love that. That's great.
It's like, really?
People like what they're going to like.
So let me ask you a question, because we're not going to get too deep into the thing, but I need a better understanding. So does it all boil down to, it's a money thing? We know that. There's no question. Everybody needs more money than they got. But is it, you got the wrong God? Is that real? Do they really believe that?
Yeah.
Why?
I think some people, a lot of people will use it just to kind of manipulate their situation.
Oh, okay.
But there are definitely people where they are super religious and their way is the correct way and they won't listen to anything else.
So my God is better than your God.
Yeah.
If it's God, which is short for good, what's wrong with a greater good? We're both going that way. There's nothing wrong with a greater good, is there?
Right.
Yeah, Kevin.
Yeah, Tevin.
These are I'm very, very religious, and no.
Yeah,
well, because you get people where you could probably give somebody, a translated version of the Bible in a different language and just call the God a different name and have everything else be the same, and they'd still be like, yeah, well, yours is wrong and mine is
I
right.
know. That's my exact question is why does it have to be wrong? I mean, even there, you go Christian and you break that off into Catholicism and this one and that one. It's like you take that thing and cut it into 5 different slices. Yeah. It's the same belief in God. Shut up. Right?
Yeah. I guess the way sometimes I look at it is like Mexican food. Is that like a lot of times it's the same meal just in different forms.
Yeah.
And it'd be me being like, you know what's best? Nachos. And Tevin like, no, tacos are. And I'm like,
it's the same thing.
We're eating the same thing. It's just
Love
like
it.
I'm a little messier with my nachos than you are with your but like it. And when you start thinking about like arguing about what food is better, couldn't you just be interchangeable with what God? Like there's just it's so silly when you really think about it. Like it's fine if you like tacos. I like nachos.
Right.
That's fine too.
You like hard shell tacos? Oh no, I'm a soft shell taco. Oh, it's the exact same thing except for one's crunchy and one's soft.
I know, it's the same thing.
Yep.
I went to a door. I was not really dating this girl. She was 16. I was 16. We were just kind of hanging out. Knock on her door down there in South Minneapolis. I'm from North Minneapolis. So, took me a while to get down there on the city bus, if you know what I'm saying. So I knock on the door and her father answers the door. And he says to me, "Are you Tom?" And I said, "Yes, sir." He goes, "I understand you're Catholic." And I said, "Yes, I am." And he goes, "Well, we're Missouri Synod Lutheran," and shut the door in my face.
Dang.
Well, we're Christian, but you're the wrong kind of Christian. Like, what? So it's not only going on in the Middle East, it's everywhere. Oh, you might be a Christian, but you're the wrong kind of Christian. You might be a this, you might be a that, but you're the wrong kind. It's like, Jesus, get over it.
It blows my mind what anyone would even care. We had a Mormon family that moved down the street a couple years ago, and the mom
moron.
Whoa.
I'm talking about your block.
Okay.
Anyway, go forward.
But like I got like a little view into probably what they have to deal with because Maggie, the 16-year-old, comes over here. We both like Taylor Swift. We make cookies. That's the kind of vibe I have is like, come on in. And when we had foster dogwood puppies, they came over all the time. And the mom was like, just so you know, like, I know what people think about Mormons. I was like, I never think about it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I was like, a part of me was like, I wouldn't eat, like, I was like, well, to be full disclosure, the only thing I know about it is the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. And unless you throw a drink in my face, I don't really have it. Like, that's not, I don't try to base that on the real, but it was like funny because I could just feel her being like, we're not what you think we are. And I was like, I honestly don't think much. That's kind of one of my biggest appeals.
He's like, that's my shtick is I don't think much.
Let me tell you about the good news about me.
Let me tell you
what's going on up here.
Do I period on people? Yes. But I think
we're flying the flag today, ladies and gentlemen. That's all we're doing. Well, it's unbelievable.
That's because everybody lives in there. I'm the center of the universe of like everybody spends their whole entire day thinking about something I did or me. Where it's like I don't unless you show up and you're dressed significantly different, like you showed up in like a bonnet and a long old-timey dress from the 1800s. I'm probably just going to assume you're just like everybody else.
I just don't care. Like, I mean, unless it just doesn't, unless it's in my face or whatever, I don't care. I don't want to get involved in any of that. Like, your 16-year-old is amazing. Your whole family's amazing. I would have no reason to not be super pumped to see you guys all the time, always. So
I think that's very true. I know we got to go to break here, but I still to this day, you believe what you believe, and I believe what I believe. And if it gets us both to where we want to be, whether it's heaven or just dead or whatever the hell it is, what's wrong with that? I mean, just if you're going to go to heaven, good for you. I'm very happy for you.
And like, aren't you happy for people that have coping mechanisms? Everyone has their things, right? Like, if that helps you through this rough, like this life, I feel happy for you that you have that.
I agree completely, sister. So can we just stop judging everybody about everything?
Okay.
You're the wrong kind of your political party is wrong. Your religion is wrong. Your skin color is wrong. It's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
I got my life. You got yours. Calm down. I mean, am I going to affect your life in any way by not believing what you believe? No.
No.
I don't have I'll go on the air and rip the piss out of you. But other than that.
Right. Other than that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? All right. We do have to take a break here because we have a special guest coming up in a couple of minutes. You know the song Kokomo? It's supposed to be off the Florida Keys, right? Well, I hate to break your Beach Boys bubble, but that's a fictitious place they made up for the song. Fortunately for the rest of us, the Florida Keys island chain are as real as the taxes you have to pay in Minnesota if you're a Minnesota resident. Now, that's a reason to move south. In addition to Florida and all Monroe County being beautiful, but it is, believe me, the Keys from Key Largo to Key West are even more beautiful, and that is a fact, by the way. This is Tom Barnard, part-time Florida resident myself, and if you want a second house or a new retirement home or want to become a Floridian, might I suggest you contact Matt Carlson from One Key West Realty. Matt grew up in Litchfield, and he's a super real estate agent. When it comes to finding your tropical island space in the Keys, and I love the Keys, he lives there and here, and Matt knows what's best in Key West to buy for your second home in Florida. Matt teamed up with fellow Minnesotan from Sartell and Alexandria, Kristen Eklund, who's one of the top mortgage brokers in the country, from Coast to Coast Mortgage, of course. She'll get you the financing you need to buy a home in Florida or in Minnesota. Matt's part of the Lake Sotheby's International Realty Group here in Minnesota, and Kristen, his mortgage colleague, lives and works in the Keys, so they both know the Florida Keys, new and existing homes for sale, and are Minnesotan through and through. Contact them by heading to onekeywest.com. That is onekeywest.com.
Is that text you're sending so important that you missed your turn? Is that text you're sending so important that you ran the red light? Is that text you're sending so important you didn't see the ball coming onto the road or the child that followed? Hi, I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw and Bryant. When you take your eyes off the road for even 4 seconds, your vehicle travels 100 yards. That's the entire length of a football field. If you absolutely have to text, you need to pull off the road somewhere safe and do it from there. Texting and driving is against the law and can cause serious injury or even death to you and others. Now that is important. We hope you're never injured in a collision, but if you are, please contact us.
Find Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
Going farther with Mike Bryant on your side, seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw and Bryant.
Guys, if you want to reignite your intimacy once and for all, listen, just give Twin Cities Premier Health a call for a discreet and confidential in-office evaluation by their highly trained staff of medical professionals. Acoustic wave therapy sessions are 25 to 30-minute treatments with no pain, no downtime afterward. And right now, Twin Cities Premier Health is offering a free treatment and a free consultation when you book today. Receive this $800 value when you use code word TOM at TwinCitiesPremierHealth.com. You may know that age-related erectile dysfunction is most commonly caused by a buildup of plaque in the arteries that supply blood to the erectile tissue. Acoustic wave therapy can rescue your relationship and has been clinically proven to break up plaque. Definitely take advantage of this limited time special offer. Receive a free treatment and a free consultation when you book today. This is a savings of $800 when you use code word TOM at TwinCitiesPremierHealth.com. Be sure to use promo code TOM so we get credit for sending you. I wouldn't recommend a service like this unless I knew they could help you. TwinCitiesPremierHealth.com. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Little news, little information. Minnesota set to launch roadside impairment test for marijuana. Oh, driving while high. So this could be like the drunk driving. Well, they're not. What do they call those? They're really traps, is what they are. You drive into them.
Yeah, like the
checkpoints.
stops. Yeah,
Checkpoint. There you go. So they're going to have those for marijuana now too, because I mean, wouldn't you think by now, after 50, 60 years of marijuana being present in it's always been around, but it became very popular in the 60s. I mean, you got to know that you can't get too high and then drive, don't you?
Yeah. Well, there's a test for it? Because I thought the only test was either like a hair or a blood test to test your system.
I wonder about that. That's going to be, maybe I should read a little bit of the story because that's a very good point. How do they test? For alcohol, you blow in the little tube thing and it lights it up.
And I mean, you can most of the time tell when somebody's high.
Like you always are.
Yeah, but you can't just go on your gut feeling if you're giving somebody a ticket or trying to arrest them.
Yeah, you can't go by gut. You're absolutely right. I would expect that by this time next month, the units will be in the field, said Mike Hansen, director of Minnesota's Office of Traffic Safety. Minnesota set to launch roadside impairment test for marijuana. Select law enforcement officers in Minnesota will soon have a new tool in their arsenal to catch cannabis-impaired drivers, a saliva-based road. So it's saliva-based. That would make sense, I guess. As required under the state's new recreational marijuana law, Minnesota is launching a pilot project to gauge if different oral fluid testing tools can accurately detect drug use. The state is expected to roll out 2 different testing instruments next month that certified drug recognition experts will administer over the next year. So, yeah, it'll be a saliva test. That makes sense to you, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. That makes the most sense.
I mean, I don't know how the hell else you test for it.
Yeah.
Right. I was trying to think. I don't think I've ever driven high. Not that I know of. First of all, I haven't smoked marijuana since I was probably 25 years old.
Yeah.
I never cared for inhaling smoke. I don't like that. I smoked cigarettes for a while when I was a young kid. I just don't like the feeling of that smoke in your lungs.
No, smoking, like I remember when I was younger, I always would say I would rather, like, the act of drinking is much better than smoking, but I'd rather feel a little bit high than be drunk. And so that's where like THC seltzers are. Those are perfect.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. We were sent a bunch of THC beverages, and they mellow you out. It feels really great. Actually, you get very relaxed.
Yeah, that was Crested River, wasn't it? Yeah,
absolutely, it was
Crested River. Tevin, I've hung out with you quite a bit. I don't think I've ever seen you drunk.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't usually get.
Why aren't you blasted more when you're around Brittany?
I guess,
But
you know what?
But like, I've hung out with you at, the comedy club. I've hung out with you and situations where I've seen, you've been drinking in your 20s. And like, it kind of blows my mind. Like, I've definitely, I've seen Tom drunk. I've seen myself very drunk.
You've never seen me drunk, you liar.
Although I do get that a lot. Like, if I drink, most of the time I'm not like, obviously, like, I'm not like stumbling around and like, oh, Tevin fell over in a bush, we got to pick him up, he's throwing up in a cup. No. Like,
in a cup.
I don't know.
Just a
cup.
It's like a Dixie cup.
That'd be impressive. It's like when you're pregnant, they hand you the littlest like shot glass to throw up in. You're like, all right, whatever.
No. Usually, like, when I'm drunk, I'm like the guy that is, oh my gosh, everything's awesome. You're my best friend.
Yeah,
I remember being in college. We would, go out and party, and I'd be standing there talking to one of my teammates, like, this is why I think we're going to win a national championship.
I could see you say that.
Great.
You are such an optimist. It almost makes me look negative because, like, the things you'll say, like, "Oh, Brittany, we're gonna do this, and we're gonna take on this." Like, dead sober, you're an optimist.
Yeah, I think one day I called Brittany a national treasure because I was editing a clip for a best of segment online, and Brittany said something funny, and I was like, you know what, Brittany, you're like the greatest person on radio ever. You should have your own show someday.
Shut up.
I think she should have her own show after today.
I was just gonna say, Tevin, that's the kiss of death. How dare you?
Exactly right. Yeah, it was interesting because when I was young, I used to laugh all the time when we drink. When I was like a teenager in my early 20s or whatever, I stopped drinking when I was 21 and then started again when I was like 30, something like that. But I was always very, very happy about stuff and just laughing and telling jokes and having a good time. But then as I got older, it's like, what are you looking at?
Yeah.
It's one of those deals. So does that have to do with brain, the formation of your brain, how it changes? Because your body grows until you're 28 years old. People don't realize that. Your brain and your body is still growing in different ways until you're 28 years old, right?
Yeah, it's very true.
So you got some time left to mature.
Let's go.
You're good to go, baby.
Thank God this isn't the final product for AJ. We've still got some hope.
You're telling me my dream of being an NBA superstar is still in the cards?
It is, absolutely. I have full confidence.
Yes.
You're not buying that?
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'll wake up tomorrow. I'm 6'4" and I can hit a three like nobody's business. but maybe not. Maybe I'll just come on back here.
I'm just thinking it over.
Yeah.
Oh, I might just come back here, he said. I don't want to be here, but I guess I'll come back if I have to.
Yeah, not a bad fallback plan if the NBA doesn't work out for you.
What are you going to do? It doesn't look like our buddy's going to call in.
No, I haven't gotten a call yet, so I'd might have been.
I wanted to talk to her, too, because that would have been very interesting. It's on about mental health, right?
Yeah, mental health. And she wrote numerous Billboard number one, top 100 hits. So
I would have loved to have talked to her because that stuff fascinates me. The human brain and the personality and all that stuff just fascinates me. Why people become what they become.
Yeah.
And
I just love that.
Yeah. And for her to write, because she wrote songs for a major Korean pop star group. And so I would love to know kind of the cultural differences when she's trying to write a song for another country superstar. Like it's not, she's Canadian. Like, how do you write a song for somebody that's Korean that's going to relate to their audience?
Yeah, I don't know. Apparently she's really good at it, but hopefully she'll call in because I'd love to talk to her because he wants to talk about mental illness and all these other things. And it was really, we're good to go?
Beautiful.
Magnificent.
Yeah, we are all set to go. Jenna should be on the line.
Jenna Andrews, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Now that you're with us, much better. I'll tell you that, sister. Because I saw the readout they sent me. Her music web series, The Green Room, a series created and hosted by Jenna that offers an inclusive community and a safe space through which viewers can expand their awareness of mental health topics. Jenna, you couldn't be called into a better place to talk about mental health. And I'll just throw this out quickly, and then I want to hear everything you have to say. This is fascinating to me. I grew up in a family with 7 kids, and our father was mentally ill. He was eventually taken away in a straitjacket from our house. I'll never forget that. Actually, Jenna, and I hope you take this well because it was meant well by my sister. So they got my father in a straitjacket, literally, and they have him strapped to a gurney to take him out the back door of our house, right? This is in 1959 or 60, something like that. Mental health has improved a great deal since then, by the way, Jenna.
Oh, no, it definitely has.
No doubt. But
sorry, that's happening.
Oh, yeah. That's why I'm so excited to talk to you about this. As they're wheeling him past us, the kids are all standing there and he's flopping around on it and he's trying to get out of the straitjacket and he's yelling and screaming and just going berserk. They get him out the door, and my sister, who's 7 years older than me, looks at me and goes, "Tommy, I think they think our dad is nuts." And we started laughing because that was the only way to get out of that sadness, Jenna. And you probably understand that. I hope people understand that humor is the only way to get away from that.
Oh, I completely understand that. It's one of the, it's either that or having, a lot of times people just have no reaction, It's like, it's one of those things. It's definitely a coping mechanism.
Does your dog hate me?
Oh no, that means she loves you. I feel like she's reacting to I love that.
Well, Jenna, I cannot wait to hear what you have to say. The Green Room, a series created and hosted by Jenna, offers inclusive community and a safe space through which viewers can expand their awareness of mental health topics. I'll say one more thing, and then I want to hear everything you say. So I have not seen my oldest brother and my oldest sister for 15 to 20 years. Because the sadness that came from that whole situation, people kind of went there. It's not that we avoided one another. We just didn't get together because we dealt with it in different ways. So 5 of us who are still around got together at my oldest brother's house. He's 9 years older than I am. We had a very nice conversation. And I got home, and for the following 3 or 4 days, my wife said, "Boy, you can't tell you went to Terry's house at all after 20 years. It does. You carry it with you, Jenna. You do.
You definitely do. I mean, you definitely do. And you know what? I think for the good and the bad sometimes, I think there's a lot of that comes out of the learning, curve of going through something so traumatic, which is what I've learned. But I definitely think, there's a lot of negative connotations that come with it too. That's a battle to deal with it in your life. And it's how you deal with it,
Now, in your life, first of all, why do you get to live in Calgary and I don't? I love Calgary, Canada.
Well, I don't actually live in Calgary.
I know. You're a native, though.
I'm a Calgary native. Yeah.
Love that whole area. It's wonderful. So How did this affect your life, Jenna? When did you first notice that things might be a little different?
I think that for me, I grew up with a lot of, you know, I had a lot of bullying, and I struggled with like eating disorders and that kind of thing. And I think, you know, mental health, like depression and so on and so forth, is a genetic thing, which I later learned. And I think in high school, it was something that, you know, kind of you felt ashamed to talk about, and wasn't really, you know, you weren't really sure on how to deal with it per se, because, you know, you kind of felt like an alien in that sense. But I think as I entered into the music industry, which is, you know, full of piranhas, it's not necessarily the safest.
That's nice.
Not necessarily the safest space for somebody that already deals with mental health issues.
Sure.
Oh, and I think given what I went through, and it was like some pretty like gnarly bullying stuff too. It wasn't like, you know, it was pretty crazy, but we don't have to, you know, necessarily get into the details of that. But it was just something that, you know, it kind of continued on through my journey in music for, you know, in ways that I'm sure you can only imagine, you know, stories that you hear. Again, it's not something that I love to sort of express in terms of being like, woe is me, but I definitely want to make a point to say that, like, you know, it's something that I've dealt with pretty heavily. And I think when I signed my first record deal, I started really dealing with panic attacks and all these things that was really hard for me to tour, and it felt debilitating in terms of how to deal with it. So I think later, when, like, actually during COVID was when I really wanted to start a podcast about it, because I felt the need to really connect the dots in terms of how I felt, because I really felt like there's so many artists and songwriters and people in general that feel the exact same way. And I think from the musician standpoint, or to be honest, even expanding into any sort of, you know, level of entertainment, or again, just person, but let's just keep it in, obviously it's in the entertainment realm for now. And, you know, the original concept of doing this, you know, called the green room, the backstage sort of look on what it really is to be in this world. And I think for me, during COVID, it was interesting to have, you know, the musicians speak out and have the fans listen in and really understand that we're just all human. And I think that it kind of makes you feel vulnerable in that sense, and safer in the sense that you don't really feel so alienated and alone. And at the time we were doing them live, and we had a lot of amazing, you know, not like, I wouldn't call it feedback, but it's just like a lot of people that reached out and really felt like it touched them and helped them through whatever struggle they were going through. And sorry, I'm blabbing on, but
No, not at all. Not at all.
I bring a therapist on every episode that are, you know, they're trained therapists. So it was really nice to have that, because they could have their educated viewpoints on what, you know, these people were going through. And I really felt like that was great, because, you know, again, there's certain things that I might not know. So, you know, that was a massive thing too. So I think that, you know, episode by episode, I really feel like we've touched people's lives in that sense. And again, it's all baby steps, and, you know, it's you can't really change the world in a day, you know. But I think that in terms of my mission, I'm not, you know, there's no finish line. So I'm looking to just sort of impact change day by day, even if it's small.
You know, what's great, Jen, is for people like you and me that have been through this whole situation. I look at the three greatest gifts, I think, that humans ever got would be performing, whether it's acting, singing, dancing, whatever that is, or doing humor. What that does to a person like you or me is it's like taking medicine. To make somebody laugh is like taking a big hit of some kind of drug to me, so I don't have to take the drug.
Well, it's so funny that you say that. I think Robin Williams had some quote that he was like, once you make, you know, I forget what it was, like maybe 200,000 people, probably more, something like that, people laugh at the same time, you'll never have that same like endorphin again. You know what I mean? Like, it's just something that it's like one of those things, which is amazing. But also, if you think about it, that's kind of scary to think about, because in life,
yes,
in life, we, there's a reason why humans are drawn to certain things. Like, I can't wait to go to the farmer's market on Sunday, or just like simple things that I think we forget how much little things can bring us joy once you feel those type of things. Because I think the level of excitement is just impossible to recreate at that point. So I think there's something to be said in that just alone, right? As an entertainer.
No question. One of my great gifts in life is the fact that I've been with my wife now. I met her 43 years ago, been married almost 40 years. And whenever somebody pisses me off, those old feelings come back, Jenna. If people push and push and make me angry, those old feelings come back, and they're very powerful. And when my wife sees that, she comes over and starts petting me like a dog. But it works, Jenna. That's the great part of it.
Oh my gosh. Well, you know what? That's like pretty amazing. That congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I love the fact that you were on the docket today, because I think people need to hear more about this, that if you go through that in your family or your personal life or whatever, there is a way out. There's something inside your heart and your head that can get you out of that feeling. It's going to return once in a while, but you can get out of it and really do some great things like you've done, Jenna Andrews. You've done some great things with the personality you developed. Don't you think?
Oh, no, I appreciate that. I was saying I appreciate that. Thank you so much. The way I look at it is like, I think there, again, not to be cliche or repeat myself, but I definitely don't really look at any of this as like I've arrived. I think for a creative, especially, I think you're just always on the path, and it's like always, wanting to continue to better yourself and sort of explore and challenge yourself every day. And that's sort of what feeds your soul, but I appreciate that. And it's, again, one of those things that you have to learn how to receive the compliment. So I guess, in that sense, I'm definitely, that's happy and very blessed to have the life that I've had. But at the same time, it's just a day-to-day thing, and just kind of like, taking the road and following the universe, I guess,
Jenna, we could close, because I know you got to go, and we're going to talk more about the green room. You should come to town. Absolutely. We can talk about the green room then, but we got to whisper this next part, Jenna, because people might not know this, but in order to really show some deep angst over mental illness, you have to be very intelligent. So don't tell anybody I said that, though.
Love it.
All right, my dear. Well, thank you so much for your time. I love the fact that you're stepping forward and talking about this, because you can get out from under it. If you're listening and you're going through this, you can succeed. You can move. It's never going to go away, but you can learn to live with it and live your life. And it's a powerful message you're delivering, Jenna. Thank you.
Of course. And I appreciate you talking to me about it. I think it's so important for everybody to listen to that's going through it. So I appreciate that.
All right. Come to town, sister. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Have a good day. Bye.
Thank you.
Well, she's an attractive young woman. See that? Yeah, I don't think people really do understand. Don't hide. Look, if you have some emotional problems, some mental illness in the family, or you feel that you might be, do not hide and run and hide from it. It's not a good idea. You're probably a lot more intelligent than you think you are. You've got some talent, whether it's singing or dancing or writing or whatever you're doing. I was very excited she ended up calling in, because I really wanted to talk to her.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's from what it sounds like, everybody else kind of had the same mind track that you had with, just want to hear the message, want to hear her speak about it. And, with the conversations being a little elongated, things got pushed back, and so I'm glad we were able to get her on the line.
Yeah, it was great. Did you just stay with it, or did they ever reach out to you and say she'd be a little late or anything?
I just kept my eye on the phone.
See, it's all you had to do was do your job, and
don't call me Eagle Eye Fredrickson for nothing.
Eagle Eye Fredrickson. It's the timing of this, the fact that I just got together with my family for the first time in 15, 20 years, and then she's on a couple of days later.
Yeah.
It's a hell of a coincidence, I'll tell you that.
Can I ask how that went?
It went very, very well.
Okay.
But there's an incredibly strong, deep sadness from it all, too.
Yeah.
Because every one of my brothers and sisters suffered mightily through that. The guy was psychotic. I mean, what are you going to do? We were very, very poor. That's why it pisses me off that when people do, well, Tevin, back in the all black people were, you're all the same. Well, that's what people still do with families who might have a little mental illness to deal with or whatever. Oh yeah, I did not live the life of a white guy in Minnesota. I just didn't.
They always say too that even in families, nobody was raised by the same parents.
No.
So like me and my sister and my brother, we all had different experience because of birth order or age our parents were or situations. And so it's really interesting when you start looking into it, saying that nobody was raised by the same parents.
Mm-hmm. No, it's very, very true. That's why I wish people, particularly in the state of Minnesota, against the one thing about Minnesota I hate. It's one of the most judgmental places I've ever seen. And they love to, and they think they do the exact opposite. But what they actually do is put everybody in their own little box that they want them in. You know, I was just another successful white guy to them. So they thought they could treat me like shit. Well, go ahead, because I'm still going to succeed anyway. But that's the part of people who are not very smart. What you're dealing with is some people who think they got it all together. You people are dumber than a son of a bitch because you think everybody's the same.
Can I ask you something, Tom?
Certainly. No, I've never liked Tevin. Don't ask that. I've already told you that.
Do you feel successful?
No. Nope. I know it's AJ's in there shaking it. No, I don't feel like when I had a weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we ran into a lot of listeners and a lot of different, places and all that odd stuff. Mm-hmm. Well, Grant, I love Grant. Grant's a wonderful guy.
Yeah. Saw Grant last night. Yeah.
Great guy. And he stood there and he comes up and he goes, Tom, I'm sorry, but I'm so excited about this. I'm actually like breaking out in a sweat. I'm like, oh my God, what a sweet thing to say,
Yeah.
And you go over this, it's that kind of, no, I guess success. Well, yes, I do feel successful in that I love my wife, my family, our grandkids, my friends. I love the business that I'm in. So that part, yes, I am successful. And maybe I should put it a different way. Have I achieved the level of success I wanted to? No. But that's the one thing I don't like about Minnesota. Because if you're not like them and you're trying to succeed in Minnesota, they will try to knock you down every chance they get. They just do.
I just think it's wild that, in a lot of people, you are the goal. Like most people in radio would say that you are successful. You achieve things that we want to achieve. I look at you as successful, but I don't think you think of yourself as successful.
No, not at all. And I just don't understand why people, some people are disgusting. There's no question about that. It's all about them. Most of them are either drug addicts or booze hounds or some bullshit. It's hard to deal with some people because you succeeded without them. And I'll be honest with you. This is as honest as I can possibly get. Mm-hmm. When KQRS switched over, when Cumulus bought them and brought in everybody they brought in to run the place is somebody I kicked the shit out of in radio.
Yeah.
And I saw it coming. I went, this is not going to go well. One of the people was handling Howard Stern. We were the only ones that ever beat Howard Stern.
Yeah.
Another one was this guy. Another was that. These people are all people that we had beaten the piss out of. And I went, this is not going to go well. You understand that, don't you?
Yeah. I see where you're coming from. In the sense that, why would you want somebody who has been actively trying to take you down now on your team?
Why would you make a judgment like that? It makes no sense.
Yeah.
The only reason you would do something like that is if you thought you had gotten your ass handed to you too.
Yeah.
It's so weird because for me in my life, and maybe it's because I didn't think I was all that, successful, all the rest of it. Some of my best friends were my direct competitors. Well, we just had meat sauce on the family this week or last week.
He was on this show. Yeah, I was there.
I was on this show. Was not on the family. He and I are best friends. He was a direct competitor for years and years and years. Chuck Knapp and I were competitors. Still hung out. John Hines and I were direct competitors.
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with it for us.
No.
It's not like I got to knock you because you tried to beat me. But most people, if you hand them their ass, they never get over it.
Yeah.
It's just too bad,
Well, and I think that
a lot of people turn mics on.
Yeah, I think.
sorry. I think we were getting a little feedback during the interview, so I just turned Tevin off, and that fixed it. I don't know why that did. So I forgot to turn back on.
I think a lot of people in like radio now, or even television, I think they realize there are how many billions of people in the world. If we can all have, 500,000 people listening to us, it is not going to necessarily affect us one way or another.
Oh, people are already, not thank God in this company, but in other companies are already pissed off at me about this podcast. You know why they're pissed off at me about the podcast? Because it was the first one ever to make $1 million in the first 6 months it was on the air. They do not like that because they think it makes them look bad. They won't admit that they think it makes them look bad, but that's what it is.
So you hear that and you don't look at yourself in the mirror and go, I'm successful.
Maybe I'll start today.
Yeah. I mean, you could be successful but not satisfied.
Do you feel like
there you go. That's a good way to put it.
Do you feel like over time for your career, maybe your bar for success has changed just because
I barfed?
No, your bar.
For success, though, you put
barf.
Well, you barf. That's how much. That's you exuded success. No, right. You had 25 compared to now. Like I'm sure your set bar for what you feel is successful is vastly different. So
that's true.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, look, I'm working. How many people my age do you think could work with several people who are not even 40 yet? Most people couldn't do that.
I was explaining the kind of the overall vibe to this show to somebody, and I was like, it's kind of when you take a step back, it's kind of just weird that essentially we're doing no offense, Tom, but we're all doing a podcast with our grandpa. And like we got to explain to him.
Thought it was your father, not your grandfather. What happened to that? I was his dad for like 10 years. And now I'm his grandfather.
Like you bring in your grandchildren calling you bop bop, and we're explaining to you how not to close out of your StreamYard link every day.
That's true.
Yeah, and it's like this.
No, I understand what you're saying.
It's just a weird dynamic, but it works somehow. I love it.
No, it takes time to get there. There's no question about that.
Oh, speaking
Dougie
of
Sprinthal's here. I love it.
I hate the effing Eagles, man.
I hate the effing Eagles. You got to set ahead, but which mic should he be on?
Oh, this will be perfect. Tom, why don't we jump to break? And
we'll go to break. We'll get him set up. We'll go to break. Be right back. Doug Sprinthal just walked in.
This is the Tom Barnard Show. Listen live at tombernardshow.com or on the Tom Barnard Show app.
Recently, Jim Paul of Valley Buick GMC was contacted by a company that does on-site sales. Jim was confused.
Wait, they don't know anything about us, our staff, our reputation, most importantly, our customers.
Hey, pal, no problem. We do them all over the country. Get the manager off the roof sale, inflatable gorilla sale, and our favorite, the 13-hour sale with a giant clock that goes to 13. Urgency, baby. We bring our crew because, well, your people are, let's just say, a little laid back.
And the pricing?
Nothing special, sport.
But Jim thought, we price competitively every day. Our prices are special. We definitely don't need these guys. But sale does convey some urgency, so we made a bold decision for his fine dealerships.
Announcing the Valley Buick GMC 365-day sale. And we can even extend it a couple years or so.
I got the air dancer guy, scratch-offs, plastic keys, bubble machine.
Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley or Hastings or valleycardealers.com. Hurry.
You need to know a guy for your auto repairs, legal issues, banking, and more. The same goes for investment advice. You need a guy to help you be successful, someone you can trust who gets results. Well, I got a guy for you, Josh Arnold. Josh gives you straight talk, not sugar-coated advice about your financial situation. Josh has seen it all when it comes to economic and market conditions, and Josh can make sure that your retirement objectives match your investments. Do yourself a favor and call Josh now for a no-obligation 48-minute evaluation. You've got nothing to lose, and you'll get a different point of view for your investments. Call Josh at 952-925-5608. That is 952-925-5608. You'll be glad that you did. And tell him his guy, Tom, sent you.
Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC, a security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice. Tom Barnard is a paid endorser.
Why should your business bank with North American Banking Company? Here's Landon and Gavin Miller of D&B Plating.
I've always been impressed with their speed of answers to our questions, and that has allowed us to expand and capitalize on opportunities in the market.
North American Banking Company has never made us feel like a number. They've always treated us as a partner.
For more information about North American Banking Company, go to nabankco.com or stop by any one of their Twin Cities locations. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
The Tom Barnard Show is proud to have partners like North American Banking Company, Bradshaw and Bryant, and attorney and advertiser Dave Bielke.
I've been advertising on Tom Barnard shows for years. I like Tom, not just because he's a good guy, but because the ads I run on his show bring me new clients that are hurt at work and need legal help. Tommy B works for me.
If you'd like to find out more about growing your business with the Tom Barnard Show, go to tombarnardshow.com, keyword partner.
Yeah, baby. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. I just was sent something. Passold sent it to me. A crowd-funded documentary, The Fall of Minneapolis. Boy, that'd be a thrill to watch.
It's.
Have you seen it?
I have not seen it. I've heard things about it. Essentially, it's an extremist view on Minneapolis's 2020 experience with like George Floyd and Derek Chauvin.
Okay.
Like the people that made it are kind of spearheading the Derek Chauvin is wrongfully put in prison.
I think Kroll's involved in that, isn't he, Bob?
Oh, Bob Kroll?
I think so.
Oh, is that his wife's documentary? Because she made a documentary, I know.
Maybe.
Oh, I don't know if she made it or not, but it's I think Alpha News is the main ones pushing the documentary.
So I think that would be Liz, I think. But so the point of it all is, no, first of all, you get told two completely different stories. Like everything else in the world, he was either choked to death or he died of a drug overdose. And you don't know which one's true.
Yeah.
So how do you know which one's true?
I don't think we ever will know.
We're not going to know.
And I don't know if that's a book we really need to read. I was just on Lake Street last week, and it's kind of back to normal.
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Good. I did see. This was really sad. It was Lake and Hiawatha or so.
Mm-hmm.
There's an EMT giving a guy a shot. I'm sure it was
the Narcan
or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But it was 1:30 in the afternoon. So
yep.
I don't think it's very nice of you, Brittany, to look like you're bored stiff just because Doug just got here.
I mean, he has that effect.
Hello, Brittany.
Hello, Dougie.
I don't have a screen. What are you wearing?
It's really attractive, like a turtleneck.
Ooh,
what are you wearing?
I had a blazer on because I was trying to be like Chris Eggert, but I don't know how he does it. That is hot to wear a long sleeve shirt under a blazer,
especially with the lights on like his studio.
Right? Oh, you gotta sweat like crazy.
One with Chris came on this morning. He had a jacket, the tie, and the whole thing. I was like, oh God, here we go.
Wasn't smoking a pipe, was he?
No, it looked like he was. Yes, it appeared to be the case. But so things are good.
Yeah, I've had a lot of fun hanging out with you lately, actually.
Yeah, Dougie went with me on Saturday night to see the Doobie Brothers and the Eagles. That whole group of people in that suite, every one of them was a hell of a nice person.
They were incredibly nice, and they were so excited to see you. I don't know if you noticed this, but there was a guy sitting next to you at first, and his wife is standing up. And I said, why don't you just tell Tom to move over one so you can sit down? Oh, no, I don't want to bug him. I said, it's 5 inches. I think he'll be fine. Oh, no, I would never say that to Tom Barnard. I said, right here, I'll do it for you. Hey, Tommy, move over. The girl wants to sit down. Oh, all right, no problem.
So Dougie, the ambassador, Doug Sprinthal.
Get up.
But they were all very happy to see you. I mean, first of all, he finds a parking spot right on the street, which was wonderful.
Yeah, we're like right in front of the St. Paul Hotel almost. So we're a block away.
Wonderful. Block away.
And then it starts. We don't go 10 feet and people, well, you know what it's like.
Yeah.
Oh, Tommy! Hey, Tommy!
Yep.
And he's signing boobs and just.
Oh, yeah.
I was not signing, you liar.
It was one
plural.
Kissed some babies. Yeah.
That's right. I mean, we can't go 15 feet without.
Oh, well, that's at the state fair. We're standing there waiting to go on stage, and people just keep walking up. And at first, I'm not used to I'm like, what do you guys keep walking over here for? And I was, I'm standing next to Tom, and they got to come over and
That's right.
say
That's
hi,
weird.
and shake hands.
Why are you guys being so nice to me today? Cut it out. It makes me uncomfortable.
The funny thing though was this, because this happened 2 or 3 times.
Here we go.
So how's retirement? And you can just see the blood pressure rising. 280 over 190.
We got to get the message out there, but I do have a plan for next spring. We're going to do what we did we drove huge audiences to KQ with this bit, but I'm not going to tell you what it is yet. I'll tell you off the air, but we're going to do that with this show. I think just basically beg for listeners on the street. It's wonderful.
Get some of those old car salesman inflatables.
Hey, easy.
Some of those go. Oh,
I'm out of the game, but it's temporary. That's high level marketing, Tevin. You know that.
I will tell you one thing about Saturday night. I didn't know you did at this level. I knew you liked them, but Michael McDonald is one of my favorite performers of all time.
He was great. And a lot of musicians rip him. And I'm watching him going, this guy, I mean, he's got to be, 70 or something, I'm guessing.
71.
Yeah, they all are.
He's 71, yep.
He hasn't missed a beat. I mean, he's always had an incredible singing range. Similarly, I went to see Daryl Hall about a month or two ago when he was playing on a double bill with Todd Rundgren at Mystic. Big Todd fan. Yeah, Daryl is done. I can sing better than he can now. And he used to be just a great classic blue-eyed soul singer.
Yes, sir.
And now he's got the range of a refrigerator. I mean, it's
the range of a refrigerator. Because you play the drums and a couple other instruments, correct?
Guitar's my main
guitar.
thing,
Okay.
But I play a little bit of everything: drums and piano and bass and stuff.
So when you go to a concert like that, do you watch it? Do you feel like you watch it differently than the average person because you're somebody that is musically gifted?
I think so. And my wife is a really terrific singer, and we always go and try to pick out the secret weapon in the band. And all good bands have one. It's usually not the lead singer, but it's like the killer sax player that gets to play solos every once in a while, or a drummer that can sing killer backup vocals. And so we always look for that. And if it's just a bar band, we'll walk up to them and say, you don't know this, but you're the secret weapon of this band. I'm like, nobody ever told me before. That's awesome. Can I buy you a beer? I said, sure, of course you can.
Don't bring up buying beer.
Oh, I'm sorry. What happened?
Well, you know about the suite.
Oh, you must have saw the receipt?
Oh, my God. Talk about I thought the Wynn Hotel in Vegas was bad. That place is the house of full retail. Holy
I got the final bill, by the way. It was $800. With the tip, it was $1,000 for a case, 5 six-packs of beer.
Oh, they brought a bottle of wine, too. It must have been Chateau Lafitte.
Oh, the truth comes out.
Okay. But everybody behaved. You could not put together, what was that, 25 people?
Yeah, 25 people. It's hard to do a lot of damage with 5 six-packs of beer.
Yeah.
But I mean, the people could not have been nicer. They're just wonderful people. Isn't that great in this day and age?
It is cool.
Kind of got an edge to them. But it was just, first of all, the suite was right in the center of the stage. The view was amazing.
Yeah, and the sound in the XL was great, too.
Fantastic.
And the Eagles, I'm not the biggest Eagles fan in the world, I have to be honest.
Neither am I.
I think Don Henley if it wasn't for Joe Walsh, I would never see the Eagles. Joe was great. Joe Walsh. And he turned 75, I think, yesterday, by the way.
I think that's true, yeah.
But their sound it's almost like you're sitting in front of a really good stereo system. And it's always been like that. They're very meticulous, and I give them credit for that.
We had a great time.
Don Henley, can't stand him.
I know. He's one arrogant son of a bitch. There's no question about that. And every song sounds exactly the same.
He did 9 ballads in a row.
He did.
And like
9 ballads in a row. Like, okay, that's enough ballads now.
Can we see Joe?
Yeah, would you bring
Joe play now?
And they finally did do
Yeah, when we were leaving, they started playing Joe Walsh tunes. Like, damn it. Oh, well.
I know, God bless them. They're very, very successful. So whatever, but it's a whole different deal. We were talking about it before the show started today. The Glenn Fry and I became, because of Rick Bourne, we became semi-friends, and you could not find a nicer guy than that. He was just a tremendous guy.
Well, have you told these guys the famous Glenn Fry story?
I mean, about me wishing that I'd met him?
Yeah.
Well, have I told you that story?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, very quickly we'll run through this. This was back in my drinking days, by the way, so let's bring that part up.
I like the story already.
Yep.
So Glenn Fry dies.
Okay.
And I'm very, very sad because I was a huge fan and all the rest of it.
Mm-hmm.
So Rick Bourne, who, Bourne Communications, he's still at the company, I assume. I saw Rick a couple of years ago, but so Rick was nice enough to come on the KQ Morning Show, and we're talking about Glenn Fry and all the rest of it. And I said, the only thing I'm kind of sad about, I've always been such a huge fan, but I wish I would have met Glenn Fry. And Bourne goes, what? I said, I wish I'd have met him. Sends me a picture, emails me over a picture of me with my arm around Glenn Fry, and Glenn Fry's head is on my shoulder. Whoops. Might have had a few too many that particular night.
That's who that was.
Oh, that was Glenn Fry. Dougie, that's one thing we were talking about in a way earlier this morning, that if you're in the media business, you're going to meet a lot of very, very famous people. And it just, you don't even realize it till later on in life. You go, my God, I've met just about everybody I've ever wanted to meet. Isn't that wonderful?
That is cool.
I mean, you have people come
in. I just to be clear, I'm shocked and still kind of pissed though that you blew up Paul McCartney to pick up this guy at the bus stop. Come on, he would have been fine.
Yeah, that story is a little wild because even Andy is like,
I've watched Home before.
Yeah.
What are you guys talking about? What am I missing?
You told me several times that you were going to had an opportunity to interview Paul McCartney, and you blew him off to pick him up from grade school.
I had to pick him up from school. I'm going to abandon my son.
He just said he's walked home a bunch of times.
Oh, I know
probably when you were
that school.
Back when you were day drinking. I'm guessing. Isn't that right, Andy?
Oh my God.
Right. Andy had to learn to drive at a very young age.
I mean,
by the minute.
At the end of the day, Andy will always be the kid that you guys let play with a broken arm. Let play soccer with a broken arm. So
broken leg.
Oh, a leg. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
So.
To this femur snapped right in two. No one even cared.
No one cared. They said run faster.
One of my best friends from high school has a very similar story to that, where he swears up and down. He's like, my arm was broken for a week, and my dad made me play football, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, no, never happened.
I handed the lower half of my leg to the coach, and he said, piss off, kid.
Yeah. Taped it back on, and
he gave you some gloves and said, you're the goalie now.
Yeah, very quickly, just go back to that. I was supposed to interview Paul McCartney. He was in town over at what was the old place called? Just the Civic Center? Or was he at the X? No, that was a long time ago, so it had to be the Civic Center, I would think.
I'm trying to remember.
Either way,
the X started when Norm Coleman was in office, right? So it would have been late 80s.
But I guess when Paul McCartney was told that I wasn't going to do the interview because I had to pick my son up from school, he was like, he doesn't want to interview Paul McCartney. And it wasn't that I didn't want to, but
right.
I happen to love my son, so I didn't want him walking home from about 10 miles away.
I just looked at 5 miles.
Oh, it's 5 miles?
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks to see how far it is.
Just curious. Because, I mean, that's back when you get in the car and you just magically appear at your location. You have no idea where you're actually going.
Yeah, that's
So I have no actual concept of where that school is.
Yeah.
It's just, you get in the car and then you're at school eventually.
Yeah, that's true.
I bet Paul McCartney still remembers the time he got blown off because the reporter had to go. Whereas if you would have interviewed him, it probably just would have been another interview in the long line.
True.
And now he's probably like, there was this guy from Minnesota.
One guy.
Paul
this
Mercurio,
one
right?
effing guy.
Paul Mercurio. You guys know Paul,
sure.
Right? He said Paul brought it up to him. It's my Mercurio.
That's awesome.
Yeah, your friend, he blew me off. Didn't want to interview him. I was like, that's not what happened at all.
A bit sensitive, are we?
Barely a little sensitive.
I hope you get the opportunity to interview him at some point before he passes away. And then when you get there, you just go, sorry, I'm late. I had to pick my son up from school.
It'd be so funny if you blew him off again to pick up Andy. And Andy's like, quit picking me up. I have a car. Like, leave me alone.
He's 37 years old, Dad. Stop telling me what to do.
Yeah, sometimes you just don't feel like driving, though.
That's so true. Oh, that's the most true.
It is all true, no question about it. But yeah, I mean, that we were talking about that a little bit the other night, that you live this life and you meet every damn famous person ever born, and it has a different effect on you after a while.
I bet it does.
It really does, because I'm trying to think of somebody I wanted to meet. And I never actually, Gore Vidal and I became friends on the telephone, so I would talk to him on the telephone a lot, but I never met him in person.
Yeah.
Unless, of course, he was with Glenn Fry that night over at Rick.
Yeah, right.
So maybe he was there that night.
Did you ever see that show about him and William F. Buckley?
Oh, God, yes. Oh, yes.
And I was a William F. Buckley fan. I mean, I didn't agree with him politically, but the guy was just way smarter than everybody else on the planet.
Oh, good, no question.
And Gore Vidal just he pissed him off so
What
bad.
did he say to him again?
I think he called him a fag or a fruit.
Yeah, he did. He
Well,
called him a fag, I think. I think he did. Well, he did.
Gore Vidal?
No, this is really kind of a classic thing.
It was. It was
William
it was
F.
a
Buckley
huge
was
story.
the intellectual arm of the Republican Party in the 60s and 70s, and he started the National Review. Harvard educated, former CIA spy. I mean, just this larger than life kind of guy. And Gore Vidal is one of the most prolific authors of the 20th century.
Indeed.
Who was gay. And they were arguing, gentlemanly about politics. And then it got more and more heated, and Buckley lost his cool on TV. And
On
said
television.
This wasn't in a bar. This was on national TV. And there's a documentary about it that's pretty good.
I watched
he called him a queer.
A queer.
All right. I knew it was some derogatory term for gay person.
He did. He called him a queer.
Either way, not great.
No,
For
not
no, somebody
no,
on
it doesn't
national
work out.
television. Yeah.
But that was the world back then, I guess. I just unbelievable.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of things that even as like a kid that I would say that I was like I would be put in jail. If I said
that's
that.
right.
It's a different world now. That's what you're saying. No, that's
Vidal called Buckley a Nazi, so Buckley called Vidal a queer, and then apparently the interview more or less ended.
Yeah.
Because was David Frost the moderator?
I think so.
I think he was.
I think you're right.
Who was? He doesn't have any contemporaries.
Nazi. Well, you're a Nazi.
Yeah, well, I'll see your Nazi and I'll raise you a
seriously.
Yeah. And then it just immediately cuts to
Sexual
commercial.
deviant.
Yeah.
Oh God! But two brilliant men, and it still all boils down to calling each other names.
Yep.
Right?
Isn't that
Always the
hilarious?
name calling.
Always with the name calling. It's true.
But I didn't know Gore Vidal. Holy crap!
Well, I never met him in person, but I used to talk to him on the phone all the time. He was a brilliant. Palimpsest was the book that the first time I ever interviewed him was, and he responded by calling me and saying, "You're the first person that pronounced that correctly."
Huh.
But yeah, I used to have some great conversations. He never called me a Nazi, which I really liked.
The moderator was Howard K. Smith.
Oh,
that's right.
God, I thought for sure you're right, David Frost. Did David Frost used to have Gore Vidal on all the time, though? I think he did.
I am getting to the point where I have to start looking old stuff up because I found that my memory of what actually happened isn't at all what happened.
That is true, but oh God, that's amazing. How long ago was that? That was in the 60s?
Was that 1968? Andy?
I bet it was.
Yes, it was.
Another exciting adventure of Andy looks up shit on the internet for old people. Thank you.
He does it very well, too.
And often.
And often. No doubt about that. Listen, Brittany, you Nazi.
I don't want to attack you with that one, but I feel like I'd rather be called a Nazi than the other one. So like,
yeah, what's the difference?
No, I'd rather be called the other one than a Nazi. Is what I meant.
That's what
I was
thought
gonna
you
say.
meant,
That's a weird
Yeah.
stance to take.
Yeah.
I meant to do the opposite one. I'm sorry, my bad.
Well, there are a lot of Nazis running around. They don't call themselves Nazis anymore, but they're still out there.
They were just marching in Madison, Wisconsin
Yes,
last
they were.
weekend.
Yes, they
I-
were.
Put the old flag out and put on some hats.
Do they still call
and-
themselves Nazis?
Don't they go
they did.
neo-Nazis now?
Was it neo-Nazi?
I
Okay.
think
It's mortifying.
the
Nice
politically
touch.
correct way to call somebody a Nazi is a neo-Nazi.
Yeah, it's not quite as harsh.
Yeah.
I remember when I was a kid growing up, my mother was a German Catholic and my father was a Protestant Englishman. And boy, when they'd get in arguments, you'd hear the old Nazi called. once in a while.
Yeah. Well, I remember being I must have been like 15, 16 years old. There was a gas station a block away from our school. And before games, we'd walk down and get food or whatever. And I remember I opened the door one day and there was this tall white guy, shaved head with a swastika tattooed on the back of his head. And I remember that was like the moment in my life I was like, oh yeah, this isn't as safe a place.
Right.
So
You say, sir, you got something on the back of your head, and he goes, what do you mean?
I grabbed a wet
I
wipe
never
and
got a
tried to
tattoo.
scrub it off. Yeah.
do you guys remember on Field of Dreams that they got in a fight about a book burning thing, and the wife of Kevin Costner said, "Let's step outside, you Nazi cow."
Oh.
And I saw that movie, and I used to use that as like a go-to defense. And my mom like pulled me aside and was like, "Yeah, no, we're not doing that one anymore." Like,
You would call people Nazi cows?
Yeah, I used to also
You're a kid.
quote.
You don't know.
You don't know. I just thought it was like a good zinger.
Yeah,
Like
it's
I don't
an
even.
insult.
I grew up in Stillwater, Minnesota. I didn't know what I was talking about. Like I also used to reference. I had like 3 movies we watched at my dad's every year because all he had was like 3 DVDs, and it was Field of Dreams, The Godfather, and there's another gangster movie I used to watch over and over. But another thing I used to say is leave the gun, take the cannoli.
Take the cannoli.
And nobody knew what reference I was talking about. So I was like walking around like a crazy kid. That's all I used to say like 3 things over and over, and those were one of them.
Remember that scene a little bit? A little bit later, I think it was in the movie where Clemens is at the kitchen stove and he's stirring the pot and all the rest of it, and then somebody comes and goes, "Hey, have you seen Paulie?" He goes, "Oh, Paulie, you won't see him around here no more." In other words, you murdered him.
Yeah.
I got to watch that movie again. I know it's 4 hours long, but I think the first one's 3:20, and it's the second one that's 4 hours long.
Yeah. Well, Goodfellas was the third movie we watched all the time, which is
we just rewatched
so
that
good.
Saturday. I
Did you
think.
really?
It was
Oh, it's that's like my go-to when I'm not feeling good. I'll watch that movie.
Catherine does not understand watching the gangster movies. She's not a fan, and she says, "Why do you like that stuff?" I said, "Hey, I grew up around a lot of criminals."
Yeah, well, and they're like the modern day cowboys.
Yeah,
it's like they're living this lavish lifestyle that it's just drugs and we're gonna murder somebody just because they didn't go along with something. And yeah,
but why is it that they can get away with that and everybody goes, "Oh, those gangsters, they're so." When Joe Pesci kills that guy with a knife,
it's so funny.
If it was any other group, they would go, "This is terrible," or just,
right?
But because they're Italian mafia guys, they get away with it, and people think it's cool.
Yeah, we talked about this last week about the idolization of these men and how they're murderers. And we just, I don't know what it is. We put them, there's something glamorous about them.
People loved John Gotti. Like, he was a celebrity.
He did.
You look at what he was doing, he was a terrible person. Like, you're murdering people out in the streets and whatever else, and drugs and money. And but people were like, he's a rock star.
You know what I found out about him that I didn't know, and I just happened to found out about this last night. You know that special kind of an arrogant strut that he had?
Mm-hmm.
The way he walked was totally different. He did that because he got in a fight and the guy cut his toe off.
Oh,
that's why he walked like that.
Do you think it was one of the big ones?
Nah, might have been because that's where you put all your weight when you walk, right?
Yeah. 'Cause I think isn't the pinky toe, you could get that cut off and pretty much be just fine.
Yeah. Doesn't do anything. Yeah.
It's just like hanging on for dear life.
But honest to God, John Gotti used to sit out in public, just blah, blah, blah. Yes, I'm a gangster. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, when you watch the documentary and they have his entire building tapped, he's just openly like, I went out to like the exact details. It was 4:59 on Wednesday, and I put 2 in the back of his head.
In the trunk of the Blue Impala on 4th and Main.
By the way, one of the most brilliant moves in a career was Joe Pesci when he starred in Home Alone. That was a brilliant move. He went from being a pain in the ass gangster to being a victim.
Yeah.
It was wonderful.
I don't know that I would call him a victim.
Yeah, calm down on the victim. He was trying to attack a kid.
I know, but he was getting hit in the head with like buckets and things.
And in that way, he went from playing one of like the most sophisticated criminals to one of the least sophisticated.
Yes. There is a cartoon element then added to him with getting hit with a paint can. But
it's a Rube Goldberg thing.
I still love that movie though. God, I love that movie, Home Alone. And you like it, you know?
Oh yeah, we watch it every Christmas.
Love that movie.
My favorite Christmas movie.
The Ref. Die Hard.
Oh, The Ref is great.
I don't think I've ever heard of that one.
Oh, but when he looks through the hole in the door and he goes, "Oh, who the F is this now?" And it's Santa Claus.
It's hysterical. So it's Dennis Leary and this other guy are like jewel thieves.
Yeah.
And they get caught and they break into this house in rural New England.
Yep.
And the couple is Kevin Spacey and Judi Davis who hate each other. It's there's some scenes in there that are just unbelievably funny. She tries to recreate a 14th century Scandinavian Christmas dinner because the whole family comes over and they can't stand her. And she gets completely shit-faced and she's got this wreath with candles on her head. It's really, really funny.
Really good movie.
I have fallen in love with Home Alone again because of Tom. And I never thought I'd say this, but my favorite line is now, "I'll give it a whirl," when he's buying stuff at the grocery store and he asks about a frozen meal or something, and then he goes, "All right, I'll give it a whirl." And I make everybody in the house stop. I'm like, "Here's the line," and then no response. But I'm like, I don't care.
That's the worst. When you're expecting, this is my moment. Everybody's gonna love it, and then it's just deadpan.
A little kid saying, "I'll give it a whirl."
Give it a whirl.
Hilarious.
He was brilliant in that movie. That kid, as a little boy, was perfect.
Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah.
Did you see the commercial they just put out about it's him recreating? It's so oh my god, I'm sending it to you during the break.
Right. Yeah, I heard about that.
Is it a new one? Because I know they did one a few years ago or semi-recently that he was in.
I hadn't seen it prior. I saw it yesterday, and it was the first time I ever saw it, so I don't know.
God, I have not seen that yet. I have to track it down because I absolutely love that. The other ones, 2 and 3, I didn't care much for.
Oh yeah,
I don't even know.
I don't know about the third one because the first one he was left at home, and the second one he was in New York. Right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
And then the third one is a completely different kid and family.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's right. It's a completely different kid. That's right. Screw that one.
Terrible.
All right, we have to take a break. Be right back. Some Hunyuk might join us right after this.
This is the Tom Barnard Show.
Before you head back to one of the big box stores for your hunting and shooting needs this season, do yourself a favor and visit My Choice, K&L Surplus and Ammo in Lino Lakes. Not only does K&L have one of the widest selections of firearms and ammo in the Twin Cities, they also do business the right way. They want to make sure that you have the right firearm and the right ammo for your needs. Jim, the owner, has over 25 years of experience in the business and will help you find what you need at a fair price. Speaking of prices, a lot of stores are using inflation and supply shortages as an excuse to raise prices on ammunition. Not K&L. Jim's doing everything to hold the line on pricing so you can spend more time on the range. Find out for yourself why K&L Surplus and Ammo has been the choice of gun owners for over 25 years. Go in and chat with Jim in person at the store on Lake Drive in Lino Lakes or online at klgunstore.com. klgunstore.com. I'm so happy to welcome back our longtime friend, Sabre Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning, to the show. I've known Steve, the owner, for many years, and I completely trust Sabre to keep my house comfortable. Why? Sabre does everything the right way, and they always put the customer first. I love the team at Sabre because their service experts are experienced NATE certified technicians, not salespeople. Their pricing is completely upfront, and they fix only what needs to be fixed, nothing more. Sabre is dedicated to giving customers what they need, when they need it, at the fair price, keeping your family safe and comfortable without breaking the bank. Give Sabre Heating and Air Conditioning a try. I know they'll take care of you just like they've taken care of me and my family. Whether you need a new Bryant furnace or air conditioner replaced, or just simply need a service call to get you going again, go to saberheating.com. That's SABRE heating.com. Sabre and Bryant. Whatever it takes. Guys, if you want to reignite your intimacy once and for all, listen, just give Twin Cities Premier Health a call for a discreet and confidential in-office evaluation by their highly trained staff of medical professionals. Acoustic wave therapy sessions are 25 to 30-minute treatments with no pain, no downtime afterward. And right now, Twin Cities Premier Health is offering a free treatment and a free consultation when you book today. Receive this $800 value when you use code word TOM at TwinCitiesPremierHealth.com. You may know that age-related erectile dysfunction is most commonly caused by a buildup of plaque in the arteries that supply blood to the erectile tissue. Acoustic wave therapy can rescue your relationship and has been clinically proven to break up plaque. Definitely take advantage of this limited time special offer. Receive a free treatment and a free consultation when you book today. This is a savings of $800 when you use code word TOM at TwinCitiesPremierHealth.com. Be sure to use promo code TOM so we get credit for sending you. I wouldn't recommend a service like this unless I knew they could help you. TwinCitiesPremierHealth.com. Why should your business bank with North American Banking Company? Here's Landon and Gavin Miller of D&B Plating.
I've always been impressed with their speed of answers to our questions, and that has allowed us to expand and capitalize on opportunities in the market.
North American Banking Company has never made us feel like a number. They've always treated us as a partner.
For more information about North American Banking Company, go to nabankco.com or stop by any one of their Twin Cities locations. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen, with a little news, little information, and a little entertainment with Kristen Bird. How are you doing, Kristen?
Doing well. How are you guys today?
Oh, we're doing good. Thank you. So what's new in the entertainment world as people are getting ready for the holiday break?
Well, I'd love to know if anyone has watched the Matt Rife comedy special that is like causing a lot of controversy on the internet.
Yeah. I watched a little bit of it, especially the domestic assault joke.
Yes. Domestic violence joke in the first 3 minutes of his Netflix special is causing a lot of controversy because people are like, he's just punching down. It's not funny. And then people are coming up with domestic violence jokes that actually work, that other comedians have done. Domestic violence, not funny, but there's a way to deliver the comedy. And one of the clips is from Eddie Murphy's, I think it's his Raw stand-up comedy special. Wanda Sykes has another one. And they're like, this is what's happening. But Matt Rife has become, if people don't know who Matt Rife is, he is like a TikTok sensation.
Yes.
Women have fallen in love with his good looks. And that has been his audience. And then in the first 3 minutes, he just loses everyone. And he said, this comedy special is for the guys. And not for all the women. I think he's trying to like push away that audience, but it's the audience that made him famous was women.
Yeah, so there's this big insider aspect that people were talking about how he feels about having a female audience that's based on his look, and he resents it quite a bit. So his own backlash is like him being like, I don't want to be the hot comedian. And he is. He's not funny. Like I've seen his clips will show up on my TikTok and they'll show up whatever. There's no time where, I mean, he does good crowd work, but that's because he's like flirting with older women in the audience.
And these women are like in their 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
And that's when the crowd work is amazing.
Yeah. And it's funny. It's like watching, it's entertaining because it's like this, hot young thing flirting with a 70-year-old or 60-year-old or whatever. And it's like, okay, that's fun. But he literally, bit the hand that fed him immediately, because he's having this identity crisis. And Tevin will know this. There's nothing comedians hate more than other comedians telling them they're not actually stand-up. They have this weird identity thing where they're like, oh, no, it's like they can't enjoy the income unless they're hardcore comedians where, oh, I'm standalone on my comedy. They have this identity crisis.
Well, because where Matt Rife, so he was on Wildin' Out. That's where I first saw him. And so that whole kind of genre of comedy, the improv, the kind of YouTube type comedy skits and stuff is definitely frowned upon when it comes to your typical stand-up comedians. They go, oh, it's all a gimmick. You don't really anybody can take 30 takes to put together a perfect skit for YouTube, but can you get up live on stage and roll with the punches? And so he's kind of battling that. And then he wasn't great on Wildin' Out. I believe they got rid of him and then ended up bringing him back because they needed a white person to fill a quota. And
here we go. I got back just in time for that.
But no,
I'm sure Tevin did that on purpose.
Yes, he's not necessarily the most funny person to begin with, and so if you're going
to white guy, why would he be?
He's telegenic, though. He's telegenic.
Yes, and so for him to lead with that joke when you know kind of what your audience is, you got to kind of warm everybody up, get them all on your side, and then you can slide the domestic violence jokes in there. But yeah,
and a related note, I saw a month or so ago, and he got so much heat from the LGBT community, so he offsets this by telling cerebral palsy jokes. I'm like,
okay,
And here's the thing:
funny, actually.
The thing about comedians are, if it's funny and witty, we can get behind you. Like I can get what his joke that he starts out with is about women getting back in the kitchen, or like if you're good enough cook, you don't get punched in the face. And I don't think it was literally, first off, not funny, so boo to you. And then secondly, it comes out so disgusting coming from him, where it's like it just didn't land. And like I can sit and say it's this or that, but at the end of the day, Matt, you're just not very funny.
Right. If you're going to be offensive, you have to be funny. Otherwise, now you're just an offensive prick. Because I watched Shane Gillis, his Netflix special a few weeks ago, and he had a couple bits about black people. And I was like, oh, I bet you he's going to get some pushback, but it was hilarious the way he, crafted the joke. And so it's like, yeah, everybody get over yourself.
And another thing about Matt, too, in that joke is he did the laziest form of comedy, which is he told a story, a fake scenario that never happened. I'm sure of it. Like, he made up a fake scenario and then talked about himself. Like, and then I said, you're not doing stand up. You're being anecdotal and with no conversation. And so it was like, so lazy, like this is what I said to my friend. Isn't that funny? No, you're not even doing stand-up at this point.
And it's so interesting too, because then when you watch in comparison what Wanda Sykes set up for her domestic violence joke and what Eddie Murphy did, and you see that they actually twisted around and it's about empowering women versus him just punching down and going, women should be back in the kitchen, especially with that black guy. They can't cook. So it's so interesting to see how smartly crafted the joke was with the two other comedians versus what Matt Rife did.
Yeah.
No. But now, Tom, that you're back, I wanted to bring this up with Kristen because I saw an article. Are you sad today that Blue Bloods is officially done on CBS?
I did not know that. When did they decide that?
I just saw
yesterday. The news broke probably about half an hour after I got off the air with you guys. So the 14th season will be the final one. It's going to premiere on the second week of February on CBS. They will do 10 episodes, and then the last 8 episodes won't air until fall 2024. So it'll be 18th for the last season, but it'll be done in 2 parts.
I got one more year of Blue Bloods.
You do. And this is not unexpected. The cast took a 25% pay cut just to make season 14 happen in the first place.
Yep.
So it's just becoming too expensive to produce. You've got Donnie Wahlberg and you've got Tom Selleck, Bridget Moynihan. These are all A-list stars on TV that command top dollar at this point.
Well, it does make me sad because I do love that show. It does. I think it's the best cop show I've ever seen, to tell you the truth, because there's a family element to the whole deal. There are 3 generations of the cops in the family. And as you just pointed out, great actors, no question about it. So, yeah, it makes me sad. But if I got one more year, I'm very happy about that. It didn't just go away. So that's good.
No.
Yeah, you're going to have a great finale. You'll have 10 episodes and then another 8 to look forward to next fall, a year from now.
I should give them a call and say, hey, why don't you do an episode on the people that were criminals in my neighborhood? I know it wasn't New York City, but what the hell? I'm a big fan.
Give them story ideas.
Yeah, give them some story ideas, no question. As a matter of fact, I just got a call from my wife that a mail carrier in this area just had a gun pulled on him.
Ooh.
Why are people pulling guns on mail?
St. Louis Park?
Yeah. Wow. Apparently. It's just, oh my God. Oh, Ralphie's here. Hey, Ralphie boy. See, I kind of went that. Is he good to go there, Andy?
What do you mean?
Is that mic going to work?
The mic will work. The laptop.
Yeah, we'll get him set up on the laptop after.
Yet. Yeah.
No, I mean,
it'll take a bit.
He doesn't need that. He ad libs anyway. What the hell does he need with that? But yeah, so Kristen, I will tell you, I have always been a fan of that show, off and on throughout the year. I like the cast. I like the way it's written. I love the family element to 3 generations of cops. I love the family element to that show.
Something's wrong with that mic. I think the cable is touching a power cable.
Could be.
Yeah, and Tom Selleck has had an incredible career.
Oh, God. Yeah, absolutely. The movies he's made and all the rest of it. And you look back, I'm
going to swap out that mic. It doesn't work.
Thanks.
My father-in-law is going to be heartbroken to hear this news. Like, I hope he doesn't find out till after Thanksgiving, because this Blue Bloods was his
lifeblood.
Yeah, thank you. Exactly.
Lifeblood and blue blood.
Yeah, his blood runs blue. Is all I'm going to say.
It kind of makes me sad that things get too expensive to be made. That should not happen.
There's a really interesting article in Variety today, just like lessons learned from the pandemic, which was, and then into a strike, which was a double whammy for Hollywood, and just how many cuts we're going to see in terms of budget, A-list talent, on the studio side, like executives and things like that. There are going to be major cuts along the way. We just can't afford to move forward the way we have been in the past. So it's coming, unfortunately.
I understand. The thing that's so weird about it is was all driven pretty much by the actors themselves. The top level actors drove it to be so expensive. They just don't want to do it anymore.
Well, they can't do it anymore. It's not sustainable. I mean, Tom Cruise can't even get butts in the seats to go see Mission Impossible again. So, I mean, he did it with Top Gun, but we hadn't seen Top Gun in 30 years. Mission Impossible, they even postponed the movie for another couple of years because they're like, people need a break. They were supposed to come out, this summer, and then the sequel was supposed to come out next summer. And they're like, you know what? People need a breather. We can't afford these $120 million budgets than an $80 million marketing budget.
$200 million for a movie.
Yep.
My God.
And remember, then you have someone like Tom Cruise getting points on the back end.
Yeah.
And if it's not even making $200 million in the US, that's rough. Yeah. That's rough.
I mean, how much money do people need, really? Do they all have to be billionaires now? Is that the idea?
Well, they're not becoming billionaires anymore by being movie stars. They're all becoming billionaires through their lifestyle companies or through their production companies and then selling them off. That's how Reese Witherspoon became a billionaire. She started buying up the rights to a lot of like women's literature books, making them into movies, and her Sunshine production company, or Hello Sunshine, got bought out for close to $1 billion, excuse me.
$1 billion, yeah. Think they'll buy this show someday for $1 billion?
I hope so.
I need to get in the back end of that.
Yeah, I was like, do we get back in points?
Money.
Yes. Argentinian dollars. That's what we'll get. Dougie pointed out.
$1 billion.
$1 billion of them. Yeah, I mean, look, nobody likes to sit around. One of my favorite times of the day is because Catherine has her life and I have my life where, don't see each other a lot during the day. And then at night, get some other duties to take care of. I either go out to dinner with clients or do this. And our wonderful time that we love together is we sit then in front of the television and watch TV for a couple of hours at 8:00 every night. And I just love that, to watch these series, because it's my time with our special time with my wife. And I hope they don't ruin that.
No, there's always going to be content coming. It's just going to be lighter. It's going to be less frequent. You're not going to turn on Netflix on a Friday night and see that there's 10 new series dropping the way they have in the past, or 5 movies and 5 TV shows. We just can't keep up with the pace. It's an unaffordable business model. And, I think what wound up happening is that the pandemic burst the bubble a little bit earlier than it would have. That's all.
I suppose, yeah. It's so sad that everything has to cost so much now, because everybody's we were talking about it earlier. Politics, we're talking about these wars that go on. It's all about money. Are we going to ever fix that? What the hell's going on down there?
Apparently that headset is also bad.
Ralphie came in and destroyed the
show. They weren't supposed to.
Yeah, I think that's true. That's Ralph's fault.
You can try the number 3 headset. I don't know what's going on. All of a sudden, everything's broken.
Too many cooks spoil the broth. Haven't you
It's
ever
a
heard?
holiday week. That's what happened.
That's polite.
Yeah, now we'll see if the mic works, though.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. I can
Don't
be
tell me
silent.
what to do.
I
Don't worry about it.
I will be a
Sounded like shit for 10 minutes. Yeah, you could mime it up. Another fact that we always knew that Hollywood people were greedy bastards anyway, so not a shock. Right?
Well, I mean, come on. It's like you have your middle class actors who are certainly not earning the money that they should be. So you can't do the sweeping generalization. You can say maybe like studio executives, A-list actors, but A-list actors, like the smart ones, all developed businesses over the last 5 to 10 years. I mean, you look at what Ryan Reynolds is doing. Even George Clooney and Randy Gerber creating their Casamigos tequila line. They sold that for $1 billion. This is where people are making their money.
Yeah.
It's not about being Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, Tom Cruise back in the 80s and 90s and making that money. That money doesn't exist anymore.
So maybe you should use your appearance in movie to create your brand. So then you make money, but do the appearance in the movie for free.
You could do that.
Or discounted. I mean, rather than looking for heavy payback with a movie, and you'd use that to create your brand and your community.
Yeah. Or do some brand promotion. Say if I can put my brand in the movie for free, or I'll take half rate on my movie fee. There's definitely, I'm sure some of that wheeling and dealing is happening. I wouldn't be surprised.
And I saw Terrence Howard. He did an interview. I don't know how long ago it was, but he was talking about doing the Hustle and Flow movie, which was wildly successful, super popular, and he made $12,000 off the movie. And he said he's suing, I guess it would be Paramount, because they put, for all the music in the movie, they put that his character DJ was the performer. So like if he went and did a concert, that was DJ performing, not Terrence Howard. So he didn't get paid for any of that. So now he has to sue them.
And that was an Oscar-nominated film, by the way. That's not just like, oh, it did well at the box office. We're talking about then it reaches award show season, which is another level of prestige.
Yeah.
Is part of that because he's so hard to get along with?
Oh, don't tell me he's a pain in the ass.
He is a pain in the ass.
Massive pain in the ass.
You don't want to date him either. Let me tell you that.
There you go.
I'll check him off. I'll check him off my list of potential mates.
I know. Yeah. You're not his type, but that is definitely, that's pretty well documented too. He's got some domestic violence issues.
He does definitely. Kristen, I'll be Terrence Howard and you be the interviewer, and we'll show you the kind of guy he was, because I've interviewed him a couple of times.
Okay. So when you did Hustle and Flow, what was your approach to your character?
I don't want to talk about that.
Okay. Well, what was your favorite part about being on set?
No, I just told you I don't want to talk about that at all. Why do you keep asking me these questions? What's wrong with you?
What projects do you have ahead?
That's none of your business. I mean, swear to God, that's how he is when he's being interviewed. Oh, it's terrible. Kristen, am I lying?
No, he is kind of challenging.
Remember the time we interviewed the woman, her husband was a famous rock star that took his life, and she wrote a book about it. And we were interviewing her, asking her questions, and every answer was, well, you have to read the book.
Yep, I remember.
People do that all the time at the promotional book tour. And I'm like, if you don't give us a little bit of tea, you don't have to tell the whole story, but you have to give us a morsel, because otherwise there's no point in you doing a promotional book tour.
It was like she was under a murder investigation.
Yeah, I guess.
Under the light.
God, settle down, lady. Relax. Everything's going to work out just fine. So Bass Reeves' fourth episode came out, and that show keeps getting better. I tell you what, Taylor Sheridan might be pissing people off by being so successful, but that boy knows how to write.
I think you're his number one fan. I think you're like president of his fan club.
Yeah, I might be the president. I never talked to him. I should probably get him on the show.
You should. It would be really fun.
But Bass Reeves it handles what it was like to be a black man 150 years ago in America and becoming a deputy sheriff. I mean, it's a true story, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, it's a true story.
I feel like in Westerns, black people aren't really represented. So to hear that there's actually such thing as black cowboys.
Most of them were actually black.
Yeah. So I'm going to have to watch this.
Well,
you'd love it, I think.
But that's the whole, the word boy. I was called a boy when I was in the steel mill, because a common laborer is referred to as a boy.
Yeah.
Slaves only job they could get is common labor. No one's going to give them any other job.
Right.
So that's why that's a derogatory term was associated with that skin color. Sure, most of those cowboys were black. I agree.
They were. Yeah, a lot of them were. But in any case, so what else is coming up? What do we got? See, the problem is I asked the question, and Hollywood's in a weird position right now. It's like, well, someday we'll get there, but I mean,
it's just that everyone has to get back to work. So most people are going back to work right after Thanksgiving. That's when a couple shows are already back, but most of them are returning after the holiday, and then they'll only have 2 weeks of work because there is a hard stop right around December 15th, and then they'll return in the new year. So everything is just kind of in like this weird kind of purgatory situation. So a lot of things are getting canceled or renewed, or they're just announcing that last season. So that's what we're seeing, or we're just even seeing like the schedules being established for mid-season. And they were hoping to get shows back up in January. And as we're clearly seeing, it is early to mid-February at best. A lot of the shows are even March.
Have you heard anything about Squid Game season 2? And if that is on its way out? Okay.
Squid Games is fabulous.
Yeah, first season of Squid Game was amazing. And so since that, like the day that series, whatever, Raptor was done being popular, people were ready for season 2. And it's been 2-3 years now?
Yeah, it's been in this weird holding pattern, and I haven't heard anything about production yet. So, and I know some of the actors were like, we haven't heard anything either. But it seems to me that like Netflix would be remiss to not do a season 2.
Well, I thought I read somewhere that they were currently filming season 2.
Are they? Were they able to do it during the strike?
Am I breaking news? Yeah,
I don't
think
know.
so. I saw an article. It was on Yahoo. Let me see here.
Well, isn't it a Japanese show?
Korean
show. So
yeah, it says
strike here wouldn't affect that then, would it?
I have no idea.
Wouldn't think so.
But yeah, it said they were currently filming and has been since July 2023.
Okay. And then, but it looks like here, it says it looks like fall or Christmas 2024.
Okay.
Will be the earliest we'll see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I never watched it. So was it a bunch of cartoon characters or something?
No, it's real people. But essentially the overarching concept of it is they're all playing child games, but if you lose the game, you die. And the last person standing gets like $1 million.
But they don't look like humans, do they?
Yeah. But they're all wearing
characters.
Oh, they're wearing like suits and masks.
Oh, they are.
Evil people are, yeah.
it's pretty compelling. I don't know if you would like it, Tom, but it was a really well done series.
Yeah.
I know it's huge. People loved it, right?
Yeah. I mean, I dressed as Squid Games for Halloween that year.
Was that Halloween 2020?
Yeah, I think so.
So
Joe wants to know if you've heard anything about the fall of the House of Usher.
that is doing extremely well on Netflix. It is one of the top streaming titles right now overall.
Good show.
So yeah, it's a good show.
Yep.
And that's like a scary thriller suspense type of show.
Yeah. Yep, it's a thriller. It came out like right around Halloweenish, but it's one of those that has been pretty enduring, and not one that was just kind of like a seasonal show. I know that they just announced the ratings for it, and they just said it has been killing it on Netflix.
Yeah, I know a lot of people watch it. I think Brittany.
I have a question. I'm dying to know about what everyone's saying about Brad Pitt right now. With the sun coming out, calling him an a-hole.
What? Oh, I didn't know that.
Well, it's actually a resurfaced Instagram post that he did. I should say Instagram story that his second oldest son, Pax, did. Basically saying his dad is a deadbeat and that he hates him. And this came out, I believe it was like 2020 or 2021 that he posted it. But this all comes out of, and I've talked about this a little bit, but this all comes out of the situation that happened between Angelina and Brad in 2016 on that plane that led to their split.
Here in Minnesota.
Yep. They stopped in Minnesota. They were refueling. And originally, but everything happened like in the air, but they stopped in Minnesota. That's when like police and the FBI were notified. And then they flew on to Los Angeles. And that case, the FBI, that agent who handled it originally said, we recommend domestic violence charges against Brad Pitt.
Really?
Once it was transferred officially to the Los Angeles office, it went away magically.
Really?
And Angelina Jolie is suing the FBI Los Angeles Bureau to find out what happened in that whole like mess. Because if you read the documents, the court documents are chilling, honestly, of what happened in the air. Besides Brad Pitt allegedly being extremely drunk, he was pouring alcohol on Angelina, on a couple of the kids. He hit a couple of the kids. One of them that is confirmed is Maddox. And then there's at least one other child that was hit during this sort of major situation that happened in the air. But it was really the breaking point for the entire family. And people, especially during Brad Pitt's recent Oscar run, people are like, he's so great. And maybe he's going to get back with Jennifer Aniston and all this stuff. It's gross because his kids don't talk to him. Most of the kids changed their last name to just Jolie. They're no longer Jolie Pitt.
Oh, okay.
They have no relationship with them. And even when his daughter got into Spelman College, it was an Entertainment Tonight reporter who broke the news to him. He's like, oh, yeah, that's so great. We're so excited for her. But you could tell on his face, he had no clue she was going to Spelman a year early.
Oh, God. So you said the FBI kind of covered it up in L.A.?
That is the allegation from Angelina Jolie. But it is documented that the original officer, or FBI agent in Minnesota recommended that charges be brought against Brad Pitt. And then the case was transferred to the LA Bureau. And that is where it magically went away.
You know what's amazing about that? The reason I even bring it up, I've dealt with the FBI once, and they were a massive pain in the ass.
As they should be.
No. They're very political. That's
okay.
The FBI got really political now.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say their job is to be assholes in people's lives, but I get what
really
you're
wish
saying.
they would be.
We've seen plenty of situations where they've dropped the ball besides this case.
Yeah.
Look at USA Gymnastics. They sat on that case for years. They knew about Larry Nassar abusing all of our gymnasts. It's disgusting.
So
why did they become that? Back in the day, the FBI was the place that you needed to go, right? What changed? Why did they get so political?
I don't know if politics had anything to do with it. To me, it's just incompetence. I don't know.
Oh, no, it's very political. They're very political. No doubt. Anyway, so that's going to do it for another round, sister.
All righty. I'll see you all tomorrow.
So looking forward to Justin. What are you going to do for Thanksgiving? You going anywhere?
No, we're staying here this year, and I am going to have a great dinner with friends, and we are going to relax and lay on the couch. I am so excited.
Yeah, little downtime. There's nothing wrong with that. We'll talk.
Yeah, it's been busy fall.
Thanks a lot. See you later. Oh, Brittany waving goodbye to Kristen.
Love her.
Take a break. Be right back and wrap things up right after this.
This is the Tom Barnard Show. Listen live on the Tom Barnard Show app or at tombarnardshow.com.
Is that text you're sending so important that you missed your turn? Is that text you're sending so important that you ran the red light? Is that text you're sending so important you didn't see the ball coming onto the road or the child that followed? Hi, I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw & Bryant. When you take your eyes off the road for even 4 seconds, your vehicle travels 100 yards. That's the entire length of a football field. If you absolutely have to text, you need to pull off the road somewhere safe and do it from there. Texting and driving is against the law and can cause serious injury or even death to you and others. Now that is important. We hope you're never injured in a collision, but if you are, please contact us.
Find Bradshaw & Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
Going farther with Mike Bryant on your side, seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw & Bryant.
Recently, Jim Paul of Valley Buick GMC was contacted by a company that does on-site sales. Jim was confused.
Wait, they don't know anything about us, our staff, our reputation, most importantly, our customers.
Hey, pal, no problem. We do them all over the country. Get the manager off the roof sale, inflatable gorilla sale, and our favorite, the 13-hour sale with a giant clock that goes to 13. Urgency, baby. We bring our crew because, well, your people are, let's just say, a little laid back.
And the pricing?
Nothing special, sport.
But Jim thought, we price competitively every day. Our prices are special. We definitely don't need these guys. But sale does convey some urgency, so we made a bold decision for his fine dealerships.
Announcing the Valley Buick GMC 365-day sale. And we can even extend it a couple years or so.
I got the air dancer guy, scratch-offs, plastic keys, bubble machine box.
Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley or Hastings or valleycardealers.com. Hurry.
You need to know a guy for your auto repairs, legal issues, banking, and more. The same goes for investment advice. You need a guy to help you be successful, someone you can trust who gets results. Well, I got a guy for you, Josh Arnold. Josh gives you straight talk, not sugar-coated advice about your financial situation. Josh has seen it all when it comes to economic and market conditions, and Josh can make sure that your retirement objectives match your investments. Do yourself a favor and call Josh now for a no-obligation, 48-minute evaluation. You've got nothing to lose, and you'll get a different point of view for your investments. Call Josh at 952-925-5608. That is 952-925-5608. You'll be glad that you did. And tell him his guy, Tom, sent you.
Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC, a security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice. Tom Barnard is a paid endorser.
We are back. We're all going to turn it over to Brittany. Go ahead. Fill in the last 5 minutes.
Hey, this does.
Hey there.
It's the Arneson report.
Why? Why do you want me? I
highlight you, showing you the only woman on the air right now. So,
Well, first off, I am always highlighted.
That's true. Yes, I forgot.
No, I'm excited for break. It does feel wild that we only have one more show this week, which is less impressive that I came in on a Tuesday then.
What do you mean?
Like, I kept going, wow, it's my first Tuesday being in because I normally have
You're
class.
not really you're still in your closet.
I'm still in my closet, but I'll be in studio tomorrow. I'm actually excited to come in.
I mean, good.
Shut up. Act like
What coincidence.
I have
Tom's
your
gonna be home from home tomorrow.
I have your birthday gift I'm finally going to give you.
My birthday gift?
Yeah, because remember when you were giving up caffeine and you were having trouble finding drinks?
Mm-hmm.
I found you some drinks I think you might like, so I'm going to bring them.
All right, because the number one thing that I did there is I used to shoot down a 5-hour energy every morning. And when you combine the 5-hour energy with about a 6-pack of it or 9, so what I'm doing now, I'm on about 4 or 5 of these a day now, and I'm cutting back a little every couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So eventually I'll have a couple in the morning. You can drink up to, I think, 400 milligrams of caffeine a day. It wouldn't even affect you. So that's good. No.
Why the 5-hour energy? They taste terrible. It's like acid.
The purple ones were good.
Well, and then also drinking one before drinking like a regular drink with caffeine is like taking a shot before you drink your beer.
That's
like,
pretty much
it's
true.
just doing doubles.
Oh, do you remember back when I used to drink?
Yeah.
I was never shy. I was never a whiskey guy.
You never did the pile driver or Boilermaker?
No, I literally, if I drank whiskey, I would lose my mind. It would be like, I'm taking on the world. Man.
I can't.
Not a good
Terrified.
whiskey drinker. No question about. You never drank whiskey either, though, did you, Brittany?
I drink anything.
Oh, did you really?
Equal opportunity.
That's why I had to retire 13 years ago. I took it all on. I remember I was at a Kentucky Derby party and I won this reserve something that like special.
Oh, it's Woodford Reserve.
Yeah.
It was like a very classy like bottle that I'd won for some drawing or guessing a horse or something. I'm not sure. And they're like, yeah, this is really high end. And then that night, me and my roommates took shots of it and got wasted. And I was like, I don't feel any different. But it was like that moment I realized I was like, oh, I'll shoot anything. I don't care.
I don't remember you. Did I ever see you drunk?
1,000% because we were in Vegas together. Yeah. But here's the thing. Like I'm 90% of the time a lovely drunk. I just got a lot of energy. I run around. Everything's fine. But it's that 10% of my crazy that comes out. I get a little bit like raccoon mode where all of a sudden I decide like to both flee or fight or both. And nobody needs that in their life with me
I never saw you in a bad mood.
No, but also again, if you like, I probably took it to a couple blocks down. Like I was probably at that party and then something hit me that I should run to the next party, wherever that's at.
Yeah.
And then fist fight that stranger. So
you just reminded me of that appearance we did in Vegas about 15 years ago.
Hmm.
Mike Molina was with us. That's how
oh
long
my God. Yeah.
I love Mike Molina.
I forgot about him.
And Coca-Cola, I still to this day, when I go to Barrio, I drink Mexican Coca-Cola because it's just delicious, made with, pure cane sugar. And it's just delicious. It's really good. Molina comes back. He's gone about an hour. He comes back and he's sweating bullets.
Yeah.
His eyes are wide open. He's just terrified. I said, what is wrong with you? And he goes, oh, you wouldn't believe it, man. Now we're in Vegas. It's like 6 o'clock in the morning or something like that. And he was going to be nice enough to go buy me some Mexican Coca-Cola and was wonderful. Apparently walked into a store and asked the guy, do you have any Mexican Coke? The guy said, yeah, come on back with me. There was a pile of cocaine on the table, I guess about a foot deep.
That's the most terrifying.
Coke,
And then what do? I would have bought it some because I would have been too scared at that point to look like.
Right.
I'd be like, yep, I would like $15 worth of this, please. Like at that point, I'd be too scared to not buy it and then think I was some sort of. I gotta go. I'd be like, yep. Do you take debit cards?
Right. Also, very bold of the employee to just assume that that's what he was
That
doing.
is interesting. How you can just walk in and say cocaine, please, and they're like, "Yeah, sure."
Yeah, but like I feel like that makes more sense than assuming that somebody walking in saying Mexican Coke, I would definitely assume the substance as well over the drink.
Really? Oh, you would?
Yes.
I guess you could
Coca-Cola.
Yeah, and I guess Colombian Coke is another popular one. So yeah,
Well, but you think you'd say no? Of course, we don't sell that.
You'd think,
unless you know the secret password or something.
But it's Vegas. Like Vegas
That
is pretty brazen.
the prostitutes advertise in like the yellow
true.
pages.
This is very
Please, they're escorts.
Sorry,
Please.
escorts, sex workers.
Well, that was the whoredom, wasn't it? Pahrump.
Yeah, that's the county where it's legal.
What? All I know is pum pum pum.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, that's a different
That's
thing.
it's from there. That song's from there. Yeah.
That means that actually makes sense now. That song is a little more enjoyable.
Remember that guy who ran the whorehouse out there? He died and they put a picture and everybody thought it was me.
Yeah, I remember that.
It was just like me, honestly. I thought it was me.
I know, I did too. I'm still trying to suss out if you didn't have two things going.
I'm not getting those checks.
Yeah, why don't I get the big dough? That's what I'd like to know.
Yeah.
All right, we should wrap it up. So, Brittany, you're coming in the studio tomorrow.
I'm coming in the studio tomorrow. I'm gonna put on pants and everything.
And we do.
Wow.
Thanks.
No, it's a big day for her because every time she's from home, she always lifts her leg up to show that she's not wearing anything.
What a shock.
I sit like this, but here's the thing: this closet gets hot, so I'm not gonna put on pants. That sounds exhausting.
And it does get hot in there.
Of course it does. Of course, it's not a big closet.
Is it your radiant personality? Is that what it
It's
is?
my radiant person. It's my highlighterness.
Your highlighter. All right, we will talk to you tomorrow in studio. We will be right back with the family show. And by the way, there will be no family show tomorrow because everybody's teed up for the holiday and all the rest of it. So we will do the morning show tomorrow, but not the family show. But we will do the family show coming up in just about 5 minutes.
Hello, I'm Brad Huckle, President and Chief Lending Officer at North American Banking Company.
And I'm Michael Bilski, CEO at North American Banking Company.
As a locally owned and operated community bank, we work with many multi-generational businesses.
Take personal care dentistry of Roseville, for example. Dr. Walter Hunt, also known as Painless to me, has been a longtime customer of the bank since we opened the bank in 1998.
When his son Kyle was ready to join the practice, they wanted to expand quickly.
With their additional space and equipment, they now are able to see more patients each day while providing the same level of care and service.
Okay, guys, I'll take it from here. If you run a family business or any kind of business for that matter, you should be banking with Brad and Mike over at North American Banking Company. Every time I deal with them or their team, I know I'm working with experienced professional bankers. So why not bank with my banker? North American Banking Company, a better banking experience, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Is that text you're sending so important that you missed your turn? Is that text you're sending so important that you ran the red light? Is that text you're sending so important you didn't see the ball coming onto the road or the child that followed? Hi, I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw & Bryant. When you take your eyes off the road for even 4 seconds, your vehicle travels 100 yards. That's the entire length of a football field. If you absolutely have to text, you need to pull off the road somewhere safe and do it from there. Texting and driving is against the law and can cause serious injury or even death to you and others. Now that is important. We hope you're never injured in a collision, but if you are, please contact us.
Find Bradshaw & Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
Going farther with Mike Bryant on your side, seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw and Bryant.
You know the song Kokomo? It's supposed to be off the Florida Keys, right? Hate to break your Beach Boys bubble, but that's a fictitious place they made up for the song. Fortunately for the rest of us, though, the Florida Keys island chain are as real as the taxes you have to pay in Minnesota if you're a Minnesota resident. Now, that's a reason to move south. In addition to Florida and all of Monroe County being beautiful, the Keys from Key Largo to Key West are even more beautiful. This is Tom Barnard, part-time Florida resident myself, And if you want a second house or a new retirement home or want to become a Floridian, might I suggest you contact Matt Carlson from One Key West Realty. Matt grew up in Litchfield. He is a real estate genius when it comes to finding your tropical island space in the Keys. He lives there and here, and Matt knows what's best in the Keys to buy for your second home in Florida. Matt teamed up with fellow Minnesotan loan wizard Kristen Eklund from Coast to Coast Mortgage to get you the financing piece of the puzzle done. You're going to be hearing a lot about Matt, who's part of the Lake Sotheby's International Realty Group here in Minnesota, and Kristen, his mortgage colleague. They know the Florida Keys' new and existing homes for sale and are Minnesotan through and through. Contact them by heading to onekeywest.com. That's onekeywest.com.
This is Bob Sansevier, and I want to tell you about Dave Bialki from Bialki Law. Dave represented my wife, Mary, when she had a significant workplace injury. She was very happy with the job Dave did. If you have a work-related injury and have Dave represent you, I'm betting you'll be happy too. Dave is a down-to-earth guy. He grew up in northern Minnesota, rides a Harley, and worked various jobs doing concrete, electrical, plumbing, roofing, and carpentry work. Dave works for people with work-related injuries. If you work construction, or anywhere for that matter, and you're hurt or even just hurting, you should talk to Dave. Let's face it, our bodies wear out. If your body is worn out from work, if your knees or back or shoulders hurt from things you do at work, do what Mary did. Call Dave and talk to him about it at Bialki Law to set up a free initial consultation. The number to call is 763-571-2410. That's 763-571-2410. Or visit bialkilaw.com. That's BIALKE law.com.
It's just you and me, Tim.
Hey. We're back. We're back.
And Tevin. There we go. Everyone's coming in.
We're all back. Welcome to the show with
Tevin Pittman.
Packmaster Rock. Basham MD. Oh, thank you.
There we go.
Doug Sprinthal.
Andy Barnard.
Timmy Lammers.
Okay, before we get going here, I got to tell you guys something. I just ran down the hall between the two shows, went in the men's room, and I hear this guy going like this. He's going, and then he goes, Jesus Christ. Oh my God. I was like, what? You heard me come in.
You had one barking for the right away, it sounds like.
Yes. I was like, man, what did you eat?
There's so many people in this hallway that listen to the show that I'm sure every time they go to the bathroom, they're like, I pray Tom doesn't come in here because he's going to talk about me on air.
Why did you just say it? It was Sprinthal.
It wasn't me.
It was Sprinthal. There you go.
I did it in the parking lot.
Nice.
You did it the San
You
Francisco
don't
way,
get it.
didn't you?
Never mind.
Okay.
You
Anyway.
clearly haven't told that story, have you?
What story?
Saturday night.
What?
Parking lot.
Should I tell that story?
You
I might get sued, though.
Well,
if I tell
I'll
it.
do the setup and you can tell this story. So Tom called me Saturday morning. Catherine was sick and goes, hey, you want to be my date for the Eagles and Dewey Brothers show? And I said, yeah, that'd be really fun. And he goes, let's meet somewhere. And I said, yeah, we meet in downtown St. Paul. Well, it'll suck. We should meet somewhere and then go together. So we decided to meet at Elm Street, which is the street that that KQ is on. So you can take it from there.
So we pull in the parking lot, and I don't know, it was a coincidence or whatever, but I got out of the car and about to get into Dougie's car, and I had to pee. So if they have cameras out in their parking lot, they got a video of me peeing on the building.
KQ building.
No.
I was going to take a picture, but I thought, no, I don't. If Tom wants to tell the story, he will. I won't out him.
Yeah, that's beyond the limits of polite society.
It really is.
Well, it is Southeast Minneapolis.
What would they sue you for?
Defamation
of character?
Sorry, what did you say, Tim?
I said, what would they sue him for? Defecation of character?
Yeah. Ooh, very good.
He's probably not the first or the last person that'll pee on the KQ building.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he had to step out, take a call. Tim, what do you got for us on the movie front and entertainment today?
Well, I haven't seen it yet, but the big movie this week that I'll be reviewing tomorrow on the morning show, Tom's morning show, is Napoleon. Not Napoleon Dynamite.
Right.
This is
really?
Yeah, this is
with,
the,
who's Napoleon?
And Joaquin Phoenix.
Joaquin Phoenix, right, with the cleft lip.
That's right. And he did Gladiator with Ridley Scott, which I think was one of the best performances it was 20 some years ago, almost 25 years ago. And it was he was so evil in that movie. He was nominated for an Oscar, didn't win. Of course, he won for Joker eventually, but he is a hell of an actor, whether you like him or not. I think he's terrific. And, I'm not, big on history. So, it'll be, I would imagine, somewhat eye-opening for me seeing Joaquin Phoenix's portrayal of Napoleon.
The thing you want to look for in that movie is the sabering of the champagne, because I was told that Napoleon's commanders, as they rode into battle, would saber a bottle of champagne, drink some of it, all of it, God knows, and then go into the battle. So sabering the champagne is where you take the sword and you actually knock the top of the bottle off by hitting the little ridge right before the cork.
Oh, right,
and it just blows the thing. It cracks right there, opens it up, and they would drink it down. So I hope that's in the movie.
So they go into battle half lit then, or what's?
Of course. Yeah. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a battle. I can't imagine how coarse those battles were.
Oh my God!
Early advent of high velocity munitions, and then most of it was sword and. Just what a grim thing to have to
Well, I
be
think the
involved.
worst thing was getting wounded but not dying.
Yeah.
Oh, not dying immediately.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
A while.
Yeah, getting impaled by a sword or something too. I mean, could you imagine that?
Oh, the risk of infection.
The infection is what I'm talking
Infection, gangrene, devascularization of a leg or arm. I mean, that was the whole thing about the Civil War. They saved a bunch of people because, one, they got them to a army hospital, and then they automatically would do these amputations to avoid
field amputation immediately, no questions asked.
And it was no anesthetic either.
Nope.
Well,
as much alcohol as they could administer in a very short period of time was the anesthetic.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, I mean, I'm seeing it this afternoon, but 2 hours and 37 minutes. I think they got enough time to squeeze a lot of things in. And that's the same length. Here we are. We're in that season, award season, where there is no limit on the time. So, we're going on, more than 2.5 hours. So par for the course. We'll see. Although the Hunger Games movie, which I actually liked, I was surprised. That was 2 hours and 37 minutes also. And I didn't feel like it was slow at all. So we'll find out.
What, do you have a bladder of like a whale or something?
It's just simply discipline. I mean, do not.
Oh, here we go.
Seriously, I have a very weak bladder, but I just don't get that pop and popcorn prior to. Because if you get popcorn, then it's like, oh, the salt, I'm thirsty, da da da. And I did that actually for the 4 hours I spent in the theater for Killers of the Flower Moon. And that deal, I got up once to go to the bathroom. Second time I got up because Taylor Swift was pounding on the wall next door. It was so freaking loud. So while I was up, it's like, well, I might as well go again. But I generally try to avoid it because, you just don't know what you're going to miss.
That's right.
So you come back and if, I'm seeing it alone, I mean, at least if my wife is with me, I can get, caught up. But it's so I just refrain as much as possible. I can't imagine what it's like for people that get actual drinks or they drink beers in there.
They pick up bladder buster, the 30 or 64 ounce kind of big chug.
Oh yeah.
It'll be interesting. We'll see. If I'm bored, that kind of tends to lend itself to, well, I could probably get up and go. I'm probably not going to miss anything. So, yeah.
So you're talking about Napoleon with, what's his name again?
Joaquin Phoenix.
I actually like him. A lot of people don't like him. Why don't they like him?
He's a strange guy.
He is a very weird guy.
Very strange guy. There's some people in the business you love to interview, and I haven't had no desire just because I've heard so many stories of just his bizarre behavior during interviews. I mean, or press conferences where just for no reason at all, he'll just get up and walk out. And then, look, you got your causes, you support your causes, whatever. Most of the time, Oscar winners, Oscar night, they go to celebrate at the parties, et cetera, et cetera.
Mhm.
He went to some protest at a slaughterhouse or some weird.
Oh God.
In his tux. I don't know if he had Oscar in hand, but yeah. He's just kind of different. And aren't most actors different? I don't know. But Joaquin certainly seems to set a certain standard. That's for sure.
Did he change after his brother died?
That's a good question. And I don't know if anybody would dare ask him that sort of.
Yeah, probably not. Yeah, you don't want to ask him that.
I mean, somebody as uneasy. I mean, imagine the uneasy feeling of talking to him, and then to bring up the fact that his brother tragically died in public.
Yeah.
When he was 21 or something.
Yeah, that's about right. Maybe a little older, but I think you're pretty close.
How did his brother die?
OD'd in the Viper Room, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, Johnny Depp and some other people own this club in LA, and I don't know, was it an accidental overdose? I don't know what it was. What was it?
I think that's right.
I think it was accidental, but it was so long ago. If only we had a device that would allow us to look the answer up.
Well, that just may represent he hasn't gone through the grief process, and he may be stalled in part of that recovery from losing a family member.
What were we talking about?
A lot of his behavior.
River Phoenix. Yeah.
River Phoenix.
Yeah, he died back in 93.
It's been
What?
a while, yeah.
He died 30 years ago? Are you kidding me? Oh my God, I'm getting old.
Yeah, he did a speedball, and that was that basically.
What did he get it from? John Belushi? When did John Belushi?
John
die?
Belushi and Chris Farley both died from speedballs.
Here's some trivia for you. The girl that gave John Belushi the speedball was made famous in what song?
Oh,
I love speedballs.
Oh, I don't know.
Sundown by Gordon Lightfoot. She was Gordon Lightfoot's girlfriend.
Oh, at the time.
Really? Kidding. And it was at the Chateau Marmont where he died. Yeah.
So speedballs were a big thing in the 80s and 90s until people realized, hey, this is a great way to die.
Yeah, but drugs are a great way to die. I mean, people still are doing fentanyl and all that.
Well, yeah, of course. But a speedball it's like probably the most dangerous combination you can take aside from just straight up overdose.
Well, you got to get it right, Andy. You got to get the
formulation
right. And that's
what exactly does it consist of?
It's heroin and cocaine.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh.
So the problem is, cocaine has a very short duration of action. Heroin has a
longer,
still short, but longer. So what happens is you take the speedball, and in the process, you take enough heroin to kill you, but the cocaine masks this. Because what heroin does is it makes you stop breathing, but the cocaine makes you keep breathing. So you're like, oh, I feel great. Cocaine wears off, you stop breathing, you die.
Oh my God.
Because unknown to you, by the time you've taken this speedball, you've already overdosed.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh man.
Or you're trying to get the combination correct and you don't get it correct.
Yeah, probably.
Well, that too.
Needed more cocaine.
And some people want to be a higher high rather than
That's your solution. Not less heroin. It's like they didn't take enough cocaine.
Well, I guess
you would not be a very good drug addict.
So you'd be better off with heroin and crystal meth, because crystal meth lasts a little bit longer.
That's true.
I guess technically, yes.
Yeah,
Better
the
off in this
pharmacology of speedballs.
situation.
But
I got advice. Just stay away from the crap.
Just
leave from it, man.
All right,
Isn't it true? Isn't it true now that almost every street drug has fentanyl in it?
Oh,
I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah. Who the
Why
hell?
wouldn't you? It's so cheap, you can throw it in anything. Well, my question is, when you get your speedball, do you get it directly from the pusher, or do you get it? Do you have to make it yourself?
I would assume you probably make it yourself.
Oh man,
which is why so many people have probably
they get the formulation wrong
because they don't know exactly. Because with that kind of thing, you do have to be pretty precise when it comes to the mixture.
Yeah, their Mettler scale is just off a little bit.
Mhm.
I mean, that looks about right.
Or they just go by feel. They take a bunch of heroin, they take a bunch of cocaine. They're like, oh, I don't feel high enough. Let's take a little bit more heroin, and that's how you get to that point.
I feel like if you need to take a drug, just pick between one of them. Don't go with both.
Mixing
play
usually
play the odds and just go with it.
Aside from
you don't let
straight
your
up
food touch, do you?
No.
Aside from straight up opiate overdoses, I would bet that most drug overdoses are mixtures.
Yeah,
probably.
I bet at least 50% of them.
Now, Doug, you mentioned the Sundown lady. What was her involvement with alleged involvement? Excuse me, with Belushi. How was she tied into that?
She was in the room when it happened and brought the drugs, if I remember correctly.
And they didn't have Narcan back then, did they?
Oh, they had it, but they didn't have
I
it widely
don't think-
available. If you,
yeah.
the EMS would have had it.
Mm. But by the time they get there,
So there, he's
often,
dead. He was done.
yeah, once you stop breathing, you got 3, maybe 4 minutes
He
until
was-
your brain starts not doing so good.
Do you think I just got lucky that I didn't do drugs? Because I mean, they were everywhere when I was a kid. You know, up and down Plymouth Avenue, Broadway, and North. You could find drugs everywhere. I just went, I am not going to put something in my system that you concocted at your kitchen table.
Yeah, there's a lot of trust in not
Yeah.
trustworthy people involved in it.
No way I was
You
going
know,
to do
and
that.
and I look at myself. I chose not to be involved with any of the drugs. You know, in the 60s, 70s, and I look back and I say, well, why was it? And I just had this aversion. I said, I
Yeah.
don't know about this. I'm
I
not so
agree.
certain that, you know, you change your mental state. You know, there's a finite risk of psychosis if you're at risk for that. If you take one of the psychedelics. So one dose of psychedelics can give you a psychotic break. Some people, and you know, those risks, even though a lot of it was overblown in, you know, with reefer madness and things like that. I said, you know, yeah, I get that, but I said there's an element of truth in some of this. And I've seen some of my friends were on high on drugs. Saying, I don't know if this is such a good thing. There's some, you know, bad consequences that could happen from that. And I just want to take the
Right.
risk.
That is, yeah.
I understand. I just there's no way I would trust people enough to do street drugs. Not a chance.
Or maybe it was from your mom and the value of life, and to lose your life, or to, you know, would be, you know, your responsibility to her not to give her that tragedy and things.
Yeah, I suppose.
Well, there is
Yeah,
a
there
lot
might
of
be.
that because
Yeah.
a lot of people do get to the point where it's like, if it kills me, then so be it.
Oh wow,
God, that's
but that
sad.
first time you take them, you know,
The first time, it's usually I want to fit in or something like that, some dumb teenager crap.
oh man.
That's probably true. Yeah, I just want to fit in, so I'll do speedballs.
So everyone else is doing it. Might as well. I don't want to be, you know, the loser.
Okay, I'm the loser. I took the pressure off. I said, I'm the loser. I'm the oddball. I'm the weirdo.
Yep.
Yeah, I took the pressure. I said, hey, sorry.
Embrace your squareness.
Whatever happened to tapping a keg in a farm field?
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
That was my high school. Was everybody was out drinking in fields and things like that.
No, I got lucky because my group from St. Anne's, you know, started at St. Joe's, but St. Anne's, none of them did street drugs. Not one of us.
Really?
Yeah, none of us. And I don't know why that is, but our group just, well, we all hung out at the Lorentz house or Andy Fisher's house or Tommy O'Brien. And, you know, I just, well, Tommy O'Brien's father worked for the FBI, so we weren't going to do any street
That
drugs.
might
at
have
his-
been had something to do with it.
Now, did any of your friends die from drug overdoses? Because a lot of your friends have passed.
Does that include alcohol?
But, well, no, not alcohol. It does not include alcohol. I'm talking about street drugs.
No, we didn't do street pot. We did smoke pot. We did do
Okay.
that. Yeah. But that was about it. It just, we had no interest. We just didn't trust people. It's like, I'm not taking something you cooked up in the kitchen. Forget it.
See,
I don't
I
know.
was too cheap to get into cocaine. It's like
Oh yeah, it's very expensive.
$100 for that.
You know,
I know,
before
it's true.
crack. So you would have done crack because that would have been cheap.
Yes.
Well, LSD was dirt cheap.
I mean,
Really?
Oh yeah, it was less than $1.
Well,
That'd
but-
keep you high for 12 hours. It was awesome.
Well, a dose is like a nanogram or something
yeah,
like that. Some
micrograms, I think,
incredibly
is what
small
they're
amount.
measured in.
well, I mean, plus you'd think, I mean, back in those days, you'd think that, you know, $1,000 for a case of beer would be a little too much, but
It was. I felt terrible.
oh,
No, you just buy that for at a Vikings game, $1,000 for a 12.
oh, it was that, it
No,
was
it
at
was
the Eagles concert. Yeah.
Oh, really?
I bought 5 6-packs of beer for our listeners. It was $800, $1,000 with the tip for 5 6-packs of beer. I mean, what are you doing? Come on. I know you got to keep the lights on, but
Yeah, yeah.
honest to
How
God.
were the Eagles, by the way?
I will tell you this: the Doobie Brothers were phenomenal. The Eagles played these really kind of weepy songs for like the first 9. What were the like
They did 8 or
ballad?
9 ballads in a row.
Yeah, it was.
They didn't let Joe Walsh out of the bag. Tommy had to. We left early. We didn't stay till the end. Probably missed the last third, and they finally let Joe out of the bag as we're walking down the hallway, going, "Okay, this is better." Wow. Vince Gill was phenomenal. He's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I'm not a big country guy, but the guy is just a great guitar player, and man, can he sing.
Well, the Eagles basically are a country band.
Yeah.
They basically
absolutely,
are.
yeah.
How is Fry's kid?
He's okay.
Yeah, he's okay.
You know, he looks like his dad, and he can, you know, he's got some musical talent. So, you know, it's cool that they had him out to play a couple of tunes.
God, I wish I would have met his dad.
That's right.
Band, they seemed, other than Michael McDonald, they all seemed kind of tired, and they both bands said that was their last show for the year.
Yep, it was. Yeah.
So I think they're getting on their private jets and winging off to wherever the hell.
I would say this though, that if you want to see a huge 21,000 people were there, and that auditorium was phenomenal.
Yeah,
the sound was just incredible.
You're talking about the X?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that is a good place. That is.
It is.
Back in the day, so it would have been the St. Paul Civic Center. I paid $12.50. I was about 8 rows up, kitty corner from the stage for the Eagles. 12, and that was the long run tour. Before hell froze over, before the fist fight broke up the band and all that stuff. And it was phenomenal then. But since then, I guess, you know what? I did catch Don Henley at the State Fair. Not the last time, but I don't know.
Did you lose a bet?
No, he was terrific. He was
not a big fan, old Dougie.
No, not really.
I understand.
Really? Not of Henley?
I do. I'm sorry, Tim?
Not of Henley?
No, he just seems like a kind of a miserable prick to me.
Well, he is a miserable prick. That's why he seems like that. He's a massive pain in the ass, to tell you the truth.
Have you seen the it was on Netflix at one point, but
yeah, it was really quite good. The documentary about the Eagles. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it really is. And you know what? This whole thing with what's the guy that they kicked out and never let back in?
Randy Meisner.
Felder. They never let him back in.
Don Felder. Yeah, there's 2 of them.
Yep.
Well, him and the guy, he's one of the original members, who is born in Minneapolis. What the hell is his name?
Randy Meisner.
No, Meisner's the bassist. No,
the bass player.
I have to look up original members of the Eagles, but he did rejoin him for the History of the Eagles tour.
Mm-hmm.
And original members of Eagles. Let me just look this up. But yeah, I won't. You'll know the name once I say it. Bernie Ledden.
I can't. God, I barely remember that name.
Yeah. Randy. Did you say Randy Meisner? I was thinking Tim Schmidt. Sorry, you're right.
Yeah,
Meisner quit, and you know though what I read before his passing was they did take care of. He fell into hard times because of big medical problems, but the Eagles paid for all his medical bills. I mean,
that's nice.
Treated him as part of the family, but I know that Fry and Henley freaking hated Don Felder. So they never broke bread and got back together again, which is too bad. I mean, come on, water under the bridge, man. Let it go.
Bands are weird. It doesn't matter. They're all like a bunch of 16-year-olds. I mean, they kicked Lindsey Buckingham out of Fleetwood Mac for crying out loud. They're all millionaires. It's like you guys can't get along for 90 minutes 40 times a year.
How about John Lennon's song, How Do You Sleep at Night?
Yeah.
It was about Paul McCartney.
Well, they kind of blasted each other.
They certainly
back and forth. Wrote some pretty good tunes about it.
But, at least they found a way to get back, well, minus Lennon, but to come together to do, and it wasn't a money grab, or maybe it was, I don't know, but to do those now 3 songs that they did based on Lennon's demo tapes, they tried to get along again, because you have to remember, wasn't McCartney really pissed at Yoko over something to do with the song rights? And clearly, if you're going to record Lennon's demos, you're going to have to talk with Yoko. So it seems like the kids all get along now,
Well, the band that really has stayed together has been the Rolling Stones.
Yeah. And isn't that amazing?
It is, through all the drugs and everything. And I think they're pretty much sober now,
And Keith Richards quit smoking.
No.
Yeah.
About a year ago. It's amazing. I thought the world would stop.
And they announced some tour dates this morning. They are going to tour again.
Are
The
they
Stones
really?
are?
15.
Octogenarian tour.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. They're in their 80s, absolutely.
Yeah.
I've seen footage of Jagger in the last couple of years. That guy can move. He's like, he's jumping Jack Flash, baby. He's still, he acts like he's 60.
Yeah, he goes into training before we go on the road. He'll go run like 5 miles a day and works out all the time. He's in really, really good shape. The rest of them, I'm kind of surprised they can stand up.
Isn't it kind of sad that the one guy who didn't do drugs is the one who died?
Yeah.
Watts.
Well, I mean, he was the oldest by, I think he was 8 or 9 years older than the rest of them.
Yeah, I think you're right. But poor guy didn't do drugs. He's the one who dies.
It's my favorite Charlie Watts story. So this is back there on tour in America in the 70s, and Mick calls him up at 4 a.m, shit-faced. Charlie, I need my drummer. The singer needs his drummer. Get up here and drum for my singer. So Charlie puts his suit on, goes down to Mick's hotel room, knocks on the door. Mick opens it and he punches him right in the face. He goes, "Don't call me at 4 a.m."
Really?
Goes back to bed.
Oh, I like that. That's a good move. Can you imagine that? Because, working at Capitol Records all those years, I observed a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
And it just, how those guys even lived through that, I don't know.
Yeah. No, it's the 70s were.
Yeah, stories of them being up 72 hours straight on cocaine and drugs. Just it's hard on you, I tell you.
Well, that Exile on Main Street, which a lot of fans consider to be their greatest record, and it's really all over the place. It's a double album. They rented a chateau in France and just in the summertime, no air conditioning, sat in the basement, did drugs and drank all day long and just rolled tape. And out of that, they got 2 sides that were actually really good stuff.
My first tour, I won't say who it was, but it was a very, very
Come on, they're not here. Nobody listens to this podcast anyway. Come on.
It's just us.
He's too good a guy, and he had nothing to do with it. But that was
Christopher Cross.
No. His initials were BS, and he was on Capitol Records.
Bob Seger.
Okay. And he had nothing to do with this. I want to make that very, very clear. So I'm at the hotel room, and I don't know how, I suppose the guy downstairs told him it's like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. And there's a knock at my door. I get up and I'm like tired as hell. I open the door. There's a guy and he's crying. He's like probably about 45 years old, 50 years old, something like that. I said, "Yes, sir. Can I help you with something?" He goes, "Are you the Capitol Records guy?" And I said, Yeah, I am. He goes, "Well, I need your help." And I said, "Okay, what can I help you with?" "I have a 16-year-old daughter and I can't find her." I'm like, "Oh God. Oh God." And again, Bob Seger had nothing to do with that. But can you imagine that at 3 a.m. looking for your 16-year-old daughter because she's with some other band or something?
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, it broke my heart, for Christ's sake. I'm like, and I went down to the lobby with him. We tried to figure out where everybody was and all the rest of it. And that was a tough moment. I will tell you that. That was very difficult.
Hey, Tom, I don't know if he was on Capitol, but I was telling my wife about your encounter with Eric Carmen. I'm a huge Raspberries fan, and talk about a band that, if you look it up on YouTube, they reunited in early 2000s. Now, they broke up in the 70s. So for all of them to be alive, all 4 of them, was pretty remarkable. And they sounded
Raspberries.
Yeah, the Raspberries. But
Right.
Eric Carmen, he kind of was pretty fond of himself, wasn't he?
Just a little, no question about it. We're sitting at Charlie's Cafe Exceptional, ladies and gentlemen, back in the day. That hadn't been open for a few years. But Eric Carmen sitting at the head of the table, and we're just kind of hanging out, having a good time and all the rest of it. And one of the guys, a disc jockey at 1500 KSTP at the time, and I'm, like I said, working at Capitol. I can't remember what label Eric Carmen was on. I don't even remember. It doesn't matter. But we're sitting at the table, and this guy says, "Eric, I got to tell you something. I'm not trying to be untoward here and the rest of it, but I got to tell you, your wife is stunningly beautiful." And he said, and I quote, "Yeah, she looks just like me."
Oh my God!
It's like the worst.
That's either terrible or he's really funny.
Oh no!
Oh,
He was not
Wasn't
being funny. He said, "Yeah, she looks exactly like me. I'm stunningly beautiful."
I have a tangential Bob Seger story. I've been playing on Sundays at this VFW in Bloomington. It's a a blues deal, and one of the guitar players there is a guy named Mick McCormick, and Mick's probably, I don't know, late 70s or so, real quiet guy, but he grew up in Detroit, and super humble, shy guy. So it took me a year to get all these stories out of him. He played on Seeger's first couple of albums.
Oh, really?
And the drummer in his high school band was Iggy Pop.
Oh, and the Stooges, baby.
And a couple of weeks ago, he was telling me this story. There was a couple of guys that showed up, and they do a Blues Brothers tribute. And so one of the guys walked over to Mick and said, "Hey, do you know Soul Man by Sam and Dave?" And he goes, "Played it with him." It's like, okay. And the guy's he's a great guitar player too.
You know, it's interesting how some of these acts or individuals cross paths in the most unlikely places. Like I was reading how Boz Scaggs and Abracadabra, Steve Miller, they played together. They were in a band when they were 12 years old.
Really? I didn't know that.
Well, here's a Steve Miller trivia question. He's from Milwaukee, and his first guitar teacher was Les Paul.
Oh, that's not bad.
It's not bad.
That's not a bad role for you. He was a tremendous guy to work with because he was on Capitol.
Oh, Steve Miller?
Steve Miller.
Yeah.
Just the nicest damn guy you'd ever want to meet. No arrogance, nothing. He was just great.
There's a really cool story behind one of his hits, Big Jet Airliner.
Mm-hmm.
It was actually written by this blind guy named Paul Pena, who was going to be the next thing in the 70s. And if you look up the Paul Pena version of Jet Airliner, it's like, God, this guy is just so funky and soulful. But Albert Grossman just decided to wreck his career, and he never went anywhere.
Why?
I don't know. But Steve Miller, he's gave him full credit for the song, and it probably paid for the rest of his life. So.
Why do they decide? I mean, well, look at that.
Well,
Tommy James and the Shondells. That guy who owned that. What was the label again? Roulette.
I think you're right.
I think it was Roulette Records. They stole every dime from him.
It's the same
$40
thing.
million.
It's the same thing with the film business too. I mean, you can have a film and you piss somebody off along the line and they'll bury it.
Yeah.
They'll never make it to theaters, maybe eventually on some streamer that nobody's heard of or whatever. But I got to run. Tom, we'll talk tomorrow for the review of Napoleon on your show.
All right. I do want to see that, I think.
Well, I'm sure I'll see Tevin and Andy. Everybody have a great Thanksgiving.
Have a great Thanksgiving, Tim.
Thanks, Timmy. Tim Lammers, ladies and gentlemen. It's so interesting sitting down, just going over that stuff and talking about it, because I guess, we had talked about it earlier on the morning show as well. I've got a hell of a life. I didn't even look back on it. It's like, I should look back and go, I should be more grateful. I think.
Yeah.
I get pretty grateful.
And especially working at Capitol Records, you see obviously all the A-listers that come through, but you see kind of the middling people. Is there anybody that you crossed paths with that you were like, if they were around today or had social media, just needed to get in front of more people that should have been mega stars?
There are a lot of people like that just never broke through. And I think today they would be huge.
Yeah.
Because of social media. Yeah. It's a good question, because there are a lot of people like that.
I almost think it's harder to break through now because
Really?
anybody, I mean, it costs pennies to make a recording.
Yeah.
Where in the old days, you had to get
That's
major
true.
commitment. You had to go through all these deals. And, the downside is that most of the people that do recordings and put them on YouTube really shouldn't.
Right. It's that kind of double edge.
You really got to go through the shit
Really
to get the
shouldn't.
strawberries,
Yeah.
And there's still strawberries out there, but there's a lot. It's like, oh, God,
Yeah.
really?
Back in the day, it was harder to kind of get your product out there, but once you got it out there, there was less competition.
That's right.
Whereas like today, like you're saying, I can go home tonight and make a song, and it could be the worst song ever, but I can get it out there in one day if I wanted to.
One of my nephews, is a joke. This is probably 10 years ago, did a song, put it on YouTube, and it went viral. It's called Hamburger, and it's just him playing drums going hamburger, 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 cheeseburger, cheeseburger, hamburger, cheeseburger.
My God.
And it made like, just
And now I'm a serious musician and I got to compete with Hamburger Guy. Yeah. No.
But it went viral because of those people who like to have the fingernails on the repetitive kind of sound.
Yeah,
It might have been a perversion.
Yeah.
As much as anything, they just like to hear the hamburger, 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 hamburger.
Well,
now it's going to revitalize itself. Let's look up what's the song called?
Well, there was a lady that she was sitting on a toilet, took her phone out and just made a song, and was just her singing "Sitting on a Toilet," and it would like millions and millions of views.
Yeah.
Really?
I remember
Yeah,
that.
just some some black ladies singing.
Do they make
about sitting
money
on
from
the
that?
A lot of times, yeah.
You, get enough, you have to get a critical mass, and then it's a pretty good way to make a living.
Yeah.
Got so many great memories are popping into my head now. But talking about the old record days, my God. I remember once at the old Met Center, back when the Met Center was there, it was a Bob Seger show, as a matter of fact. And I can't remember who it was, but somebody was just being an asshole to me. And I don't know why. So I told him, back the F off and leave me, get the hell away from me and all the rest of it. And I don't know who this other guy was, but he was this giant guy, He comes out and goes, "You two knock that shit off. Stop arguing." I said, "I'm not arguing." He goes, "I told you to shut up." And I said, "Yeah, okay, Herman Munster." And Bob Seger came out just in time and said, "All right, knock this shit off. I've heard enough." I think he saved me from dying. He did not like being called Herman Munster. I'll tell you that. I thought it was funny. He did not. But yeah, there was a lot of that back. People get, because they'd start getting coked up.
Yeah.
Not the singers on it, but everybody,
sure.
The outliers, they'd all just start getting drunk and coked up, and they just acted like total nut jobs.
Yep.
We rewatched Spinal Tap last night.
That's
we watched
movie.
that about
Spinal
every 10
Tap.
minutes. It is so funny.
It is very funny. Spinal Tap is one of my favorite. That was, what's his name?
Fred Willard.
Fred Willard, exactly.
The base commander. Oh, I love the hairstyles. I'm getting a little shaggy myself. He was so, and it's funny you mentioned that scene because I'm watching the faces of Chris Guest and Dave McKeon, and you can tell that they just want to crack up, and they're like,
I think Christopher Guest is one of the funniest human beings ever born.
Yeah, I agree.
Brilliant.
And he is great as Nigel Tufnell.
Nigel Tufnell. Yeah, he is, no question. I suppose we should wrap it up. I got to get the hell out of here because I got 8 million things I have to take care of before. That's one thing about leaving town. Why does it all have to come at the last 1 or 2 days before you leave?
That's why there's so many blues songs written about having to go to West Palm for the winter.
Right. That's
I don't know what you're talking about.
a rough life you live, Tom.
Look across and see both cars are gone. I get the blues so bad I throw my drinks across the lawn.
I throw my drink across the lawn. Who did that?
Martin Mull.
It was Martin Mull. Okay, there you go. I threw my drink. I threw my drink. I threw my drink across the lawn. He was hilarious. Whatever happened to him?
Well, he was. What was the last show he was on? Oh, it's been a while. Wasn't he on the last version of Roseanne?
I think he was. Yes.
Yeah.
Andy was he was in what was the Christmas movie they did here with that Arnold Schwarzenegger and then KQRS?
Jingle All the Way. Yes,
Jingle
he
All the
was.
Way. He was in that, right?
Yep.
Yeah, he played the morning guy.
He was
KQRS.
the morning guy. Yep.
So he played you.
Yeah, he played me without mentioning my name. Sons of bitches. Where are my
I never
residuals?
liked Martin Mull.
I always thought he was hilarious.
But yeah,
Noses Run in My Family was another one of his songs.
He's more or less retired.
Is he now? Yeah, I suppose
he still does like a couple. He does a couple things a year for TV, but nothing. Although he was the main role in a show called The Cool Kids in 2018.
Oh, really?
It only lasted one season. Though.
How old is he?
He's 80.
Yeah, he probably don't want to work
Just
as
a
hard when you're
kid.
80.
Yeah.
Although Don Rickles worked into his 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the Stones are working into their 80s.
Into their 80s too. That's true.
And the best years are right ahead of them.
The best is yet to come.
Remember what Don Rickles said the last time I went to see him? Said, it's going to be pretty unbelievable. I'm in my 90s now, and one of these days they're going to find me. I'll be dead and probably die in bed, something like that. And somebody will tell my wife, and she'll go, "Oh, did he die?"
Joe Walsh said it was a lot more fun being in your 20s in the 70s than being in your 70s in the
in the 20s. Well, that's very good. Very good. All right. There will be no family show tomorrow because the holiday's kicking in and everybody's leaving town and moving around. So the morning show will be on. I heard you're engineering the third hour of the morning show tomorrow.
It's yeah.
Questionable.
Oh, never mind. I could just I'll be swapping out.
Wait a minute. What'd you think I was talking about?
I thought we're having essentially it's going to be the greatest hits tomorrow. We have everybody's in. Bob's going to be on.
Oh,
Lammers is going to be on.
Oh no.
Kristen Burt.
Oh no.
Judd. I think I got to everybody. Chris. So yeah, full show.
It's going to be great. It'll be a great show. Promise. I will talk to you guys later.
Happy Thanksgiving.
All right. Are we gonna keep going for another 17 minutes? Or
no, we can.
We'll just end it.
I think we just leave them wanting more.
All right.
That's the way the Rolling
Leave 'em
Stones do
wanting
it.
More. Ooh, I got to have a couple of cashews.
Got a picture in my pocket reminds me of this was before. Every time I hear the singing reminds me how you talking.